PlayStation friends, my name is Matrim, and joining me on this opposite side is going to be Girl. If you guys have been watching any of the Apex action, you know exactly who we are, as we've been taking you through a lot of it. But we are now finally starting to get to the tail end of this event so far, and finally getting to the wild card grand finals, Girl.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see who comes out on top. There have been so many weeks for these players to improve, but also take contests with each other and, fight head to head with each other. So it's going to be some really exciting stuff. We got a lot on the line here today, Matrim.
Let's go ahead and get everything that you need to know to work through this tournament. Starting off with, how's it going to function and what is the format? It's pretty easy. If you've ever watched any Apex or you ever played any Apex, you know we're going to be leaning into trios. We're going to be doing 5 games of up to 20 teams, and this is going to be all of the teams that have qualified through all of the previous events. And yes, we are going to be on the map Broken Moon.
Yeah, it's been exciting to be playing on Broken Moon, but here, let's give you guys our point system. And this is how you're going to be able to succeed today. So for first place, you're going to get 12 points. For second place, you're going to earn 9 points. For third place, you're going to earn 7 points. Fourth place earns you 5 points, and vice versa. Fifth place earns you 4 points. Sixth and seventh earn you 3 points. 8th to 10th place today will earn you 2 points. 11th to 15th will earn you 1 point, and if you die off early, you get 0 points for placement. But for each elimination, note that at the bottom, it earns you 1 point. So for each amount of kills you get, you're gonna head yourself up to the top of the leaderboard.
And so, what are you going to do with all them leaderboard points? Well, you're going to walk away with some cash. First place is going to get $1,500 split amongst themselves. Second place is going to get $1,200. Third and fourth, $975. Fifth and eighth, $600. Ninth through 16th, $300. And even if you don't necessarily have the best day, in 17th through 20th, you're going to walk away with $150. But look at that pretty asterisk down in the bottom of it, as that's where my jealousy comes from, as everybody that's going to be in first and second place is going to be walking away with a PlayStation 5.
Wow, this is amazing, and that's what you get for getting to our grand finals in the Master Circuit. And now let's go ahead and look at our qualified teams. Who qualified to compete today? We've got 2 Minute Esports back, AXFF, we've got CEP, FMA Titans, Hakeem's. I've loved to see them grow throughout this tournament. Coppernick Pizza, that is definitely a team to watch. Koopy, we got Moonstars, No Fray, One and Don Aqua, PMN, Red Fade, Rookie Rebels, Sakeli, TXC is back, Vipers Squadron, definitely one of our teams to watch as well, VXTG Ara, and we don't play our team to beat.
Oh, this has been some amazing competition moving in. We Don't Play has had so many just successes in every single one of the qualifiers that they've played through. I mean, there have been so many stories that have been coming out of this. This lobby is going to be packed, and we're going to have a lot of fun going through. But if you're watching this, trying to figure out, hey, this is fun, I kind of want to get involved, just notice down there at the bottom, you can go over to compete.playstation.com and you can get involved in all of the action, not just Apex action. There's a ton of different games that you can get involved in. But on top of that, we've got something very special that's going to be going on for everybody that is involved, and that is going to be the Win-a-thon. Rack up wins in PlayStation tournaments through all of January for a chance to win prizes like the new DualSense Edge controller or PlayStation 5 consoles. We're giving some of those away today. Sign up on console and start competing for prizes today. And yes, if you need some full rules, you just look over at compete.playstation.com. It is your one-stop shop for everything you need.
And it's going to be an exciting day, so make sure you're in the chat, cheering on for your favorite teams. It's Broken Moon once again. We don't play again. The team to beat, they've had the most wins on Broken Moon by far out of any team here. But slowly but surely, these teams have been figuring out ways to slowly take them down. So I'm really, really excited to see the finals play out today.
And that's what I love about this. Once you start watching like longer term events and people that are coming in, and as these teams get to know each other, you start seeing them make modifications on plans, understanding who the threats on opposing teams are, realizing these times whenever they need to jump in, like getting a pivotal knock on a specific player on a team. Once you start to get that type of knowledge, you know that moment to jump in. Like I can see you smiling over there. You're thinking of a point where you knock somebody on an opposing team and you knew exactly what it was. It was like, all right, it's time to go wipe that squad.
Exactly. You got to take advantage of every situation you've got. And this is a quick-paced map, Broken Moon. Yeah. The zip rails are being utilized to go in third party. So you got to make your fights quick, or else some other team might come and impose on your fair 3v3.
I just love the rails because of the fact that they make for so much like fun, dynamic firefights. On top of having a new way to get around the map, I'm always a fan of that. But there's just something fun about the fights around the rails and the way that people are using them. And it feels like we're starting to get more and more innovation every single event with how to like dictate and move through this map, because it's a very, very interesting map.
Yeah, especially with all of the design changes over the seasons. We had balloons to traverse through the map. And actually, in the beginning, we had the legends kind of help us traverse through the map, the zip lines from Pathfinder, the Wraith portals, and so on. But then from balloons to tridents to zip rails, there's always some new innovation happening behind the scenes in each different map. So that's really cool to see.
My favorite, even though it didn't really move, Mirage's party boat. Hands down. That's got to be the way to travel in style, right? Yeah, I know. I do too. Like all the holograms and stuff that were going on inside of it. Like it wasn't like fireworks, was it? It was just like laser lights. Or did it have fireworks too? I can't remember.
I think it did.
I remember the laser
fireworks.
lights coming up from the bottom of it. But
yeah, I think it did have fireworks though, because you could always hear, the party going on. I'm not 100% sure though.
It has been a minute. So for anybody that remembers, feel free to let us know. But we are trying to get everything set, and yes, since this is our grand final and only 5 games, we're wanting to make sure that all the players set and ready to go. It looks like most of them have managed to get into the lobby. Whenever we're looking at this, we did kind of want to, one of our producers managed to get together a lot of information that I did want to share with you guys, as it has some pretty good insights on how to move forward through the day. We've got We Don't Play, who has played in every single one of the qualifiers and had a phenomenal showing. Viper Squadron, who's had only 2 qualifiers, but some great results on it. And Koopy is one of my, underdog teams that I like, just because I like saying Koopy. And they've only had 1 qualifier, and that's all they needed.
Well, there are certainly a lot of good teams. I think there were some teams that I also missed last show. Last show I was not here, but there were 2 teams that competed only once in our Wildcards events, and they both managed to make top 10, top 5 even. I think one is Moonstars, and I think New TSM. Yeah, New TSM. I think I missed those 2, but I'm really excited to see them play today.
Coppernick Pizza is going to be here, and the Hakeems. You mentioned them earlier. Hakeems are like I don't know how to say it, but they're just like an X factor you got to keep an eye on. They're an independent threat because they will hot drop. They will set up traps. They will do whatever they think that they can to climb the leaderboard, and they don't care how many other teams that will mess up. And you always need at least one of those in the lobby. Otherwise, it gets formulaic, right? You got to have somebody that's going to throw some curveballs into it all.
Yeah, they are definitely my favorite underdog team from what I've seen so far. Just how they take a situation into their own hands and kind of twist and turn the event. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it today with so much pressure on the line, right? When you see all that money on the line, you see all of the prizes, you know you can manage to make that top 2 if you play your absolute best. And, everyone's playing their absolute best today. Everyone's prepared. But those nerves, they might get to you on the first or second game. I know for me, the nerves always kick in, especially with so much pressure, so many people counting on you. But I hope everyone just takes it one step at a time. It is just a game of Apex Legends at the end of the day. It's not too much different than your regular games. Just make sure you stay alive. Just don't die. You'll be fine.
Just don't die. Yeah, it's easy. That's one. You hit on something that's very, very important, and we talk about it off and on again inside of this. But in Apex Legends, the amount of mental reset that you have to be able to do is amazing. Like, if you have a bad game, you just have to shrug it off like it didn't even exist, and then move into the next one like you still think that you can kill everybody inside the lobby. That ramps up whenever we move into a final situation. There's more money on the table. I mean, whenever we look at this, for people that have been playing through the console systems and are just trying to get a start in competitive esports stylings, $1,500 and a PlayStation 5, those are some innovations and some big step ups. Some of these guys probably haven't even had a chance to play on something that like that. I mean, I want one really bad. I'm trying to find one still to this day. I've got my nice PlayStation controller that I use for everything, but I still cannot find me a PlayStation 5. I'm just in the region where nobody's at.
Yeah, they are pretty tough to find. I actually have a PS5 controller, but no PS5, so...
It feels bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you, but hey, maybe we're going to have to compete in the next one whenever there might be a chance or opportunity, but maybe chat also have it. Yeah. Well, we're loading into the map. This is Broken Moon. If you haven't seen Apex in quite a while, this is our newest map and our current map for the ranked split. It's been quite a long ranked split. In fact, probably one of the longest ones I've seen in a while. So everyone's got a lot or maybe too much practice on this map. I'm certainly excited to see how everyone drops and adapts to this finals game.
All right, do we have any mix-ups? I know the fact that Eternal Gardens was getting a lot of love over in several of our drops. Specifically, we'll see if everybody is wanting to drop more casual. You tend to see that in the first game as everybody kind of wants to just get a feel for what's going to be happening in the event. But also sometimes, if you're really wanting to shake something up and throw somebody off their game, Game 1s are the way to do it most efficiently, because suddenly teams that are used to having a great Game 1 and 2 and use that to propel themselves up the leaderboard, now having to play from locations that they're not used to or having to adapt to new teams or that are around them, that can really turn a whole tournament on its head.
It really can, and we've got some interesting legends as well. We're definitely going to see the Seer Horizon pop up on a lot of teams. I feel like this is the standardized comp for Broken Moon. What do you think about this comp?
I feel like it's pretty solid whenever you look at it. There's been a couple of modifications I've seen, like, I don't know, like, Bloodhound has been kind of strong on here, but not too heavily used. I do like Seer quite a bit, but with the amount of chases and third and fourth parties we've been seeing, I do wish that we might see some more Bloodhound, just to make the chases safer instead of running directly into a third or fourth party.
Exactly. Have you seen Seer's new heirloom?
Oh, I have not yet, really.
It's
well, I mean,
not
I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's not released yet, but they did show us a picture on one of the last updates. I think it's coming soon, actually. It might come next week. It's pretty cool. I might get my hands on it.
You got to describe it more then.
Well, I'm really bad at giving descriptions verbally, but it's basically two weapons in each of his hands, and it's like a circular motion kind of knife. Like, it's very, very dangerous, okay? And I like dangerous heirlooms. Oh my gosh, Ahmed Hakim is the first knock of the finals today, and he is gonna get himself thirsted.
Live by the Hakim lifestyle, die by the Hakim lifestyle is the way it's going right now, as Koopy is going to be the beneficiaries of that. Our circle is going to be up into the northeast, and looks like we got a lobby restart that we've got to go. All right, so it looks like we're going to go ahead and try to get that resituated as fast as we can. It does take a few minutes to get everybody back into the lobby, so we just want to make sure that we have the highest competitive integrity, especially, again, since there's only 5 games. I just mentioned it a second ago.
And there's so much on the line, and we want to get things right. But Ahmed Hakim got lucky this time around, you know? If you're one of the first to die off drop, you're going to be like, okay, I've been saved for a reason. Next game is going to be my game, right?
Now, see, I'm over here trying to look up Seer Heirloom now, because I've got to see, is it better than boxing gloves?
Looks definitely more dangerous. Definitely gonna it's going to hurt a little bit more for sure. And I think it's a really, really nice design.
Oh, okay. I can see what you're talking about. It's like a curved blade. It's like one of those ones that you hold and goes around. Okay, yeah, no. I saw it, but I didn't really look at it. That is kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. I can't wait to use it and see what different types of animations come out of it.
Like, what would you, like, do you just, like, twirl it on your finger? Like, what type of animation would happen with that?
I'm not actually so sure. I like heirlooms that move around. I think Wraith's heirloom's probably one of my favorites just because it's so spinny. And this might be an unpopular opinion or maybe a popular opinion, but heirlooms make your game feel better. Like, it makes you feel like you're in an anime and you're the main character and you're just like, you know, it just makes you feel more confident. That's what I think about heirlooms. How about you?
I will say that whenever I've run around with my Wraith heirloom before, I've had a Naruto vibe going. Because, you know, you got like the kunai knife style thing that's running in front of you. And everybody that's never watched anime is just like, oh my God, what are they even talking about?
No.
You know what we're talking about right now. So looks like we are getting that lobby set up pretty quick. So with this, do you think that Hakeems are going to continue their, I guess, that drop location? Or do you think it was like maybe the lobby itself that caused problems? Or Hakeems are so weird because you never know if they're going to commit in or if they're going to step away.
They definitely surprise you, and they definitely have had different landing spots in the past. They are very flexible in their gameplay, and they really feel confident in their 50-50s. But when you're in a 50-50 contest like that, there's a bit of RNG. You have to understand that, hey, you might not get a gun in the first spin that you open, and the other team might get a gun. So it comes down to a little bit of luck and how fast you can make decisions on wiping the enemy team or staying alive, because there's just it's tough. I really hate them so much, but watching them is so much fun.
So here's my question: do you there's been some debate off and on again about this, that if you find yourself in a hot drop situation, going for guns is good, but you can also get an advantage by 3 people just landing on one and trying to beat them down real fast and then going for guns, because then you have the numbers advantage. Do you lean into the gun strategy or the beat somebody down strategy?
I definitely lean into the gun strategy. I am very nervous when I'm running around trying to punch someone, especially with the new punch animations. Well, they're not so new right now, but before they locked on and they kind of auto-connected to whoever you were punching, now you have a big chance of missing. And I'm one of the players that miss a lot in this new punch animation, so definitely going for a gun would be my first choice. And especially, you gotta understand what kind of legend you're going down to punch. Are you punching a Wraith that has phase, or a Pathfinder that has grapple, or are you going to be punching, a Caustic with no movement?
Caustic would be the easiest option, and I do get what you're talking about. It feels like, I don't know, the punching distance is just, I know you talked about the lock-on. It just feels slightly shorter to me because you don't have that lock-on way, so you almost have to like get up right on top of them and punch them.
Exactly, and I don't know why, but every time I miss, like I'm punching in the absolute wrong direction, and I'm just punching the air 2 or 3 times, and then I'm dying.
Hey, sometimes it's just about staying warmed up, right? You gotta take those like couple of air punches to like loosen up. It's like stretching.
Yeah, or you could stretch in between games.
Look, I'm trying to give you something here, like you're just trying to keep your character warmed up.
Yeah, rely on your teammates. You can be the distraction, punch the air, while they come in with the guns afterwards.
Everybody needs a bard in a party that is always going to eat all the arrows, so that way everybody else can go kill everything. That's always my strategy. Be as bright and shiny as possible, so that way the good players can shoot somebody. But, looking to see if we have any drops. Looks like Eternal Gardens getting some love. Maybe 2 teams over there, seeing if we're going to see any of the koopiness continue. But it looks like it's just going to be East and West. Eternal Gardens on one side and maybe Dry Gulch on the other.
Okay, we do have a 50-50, yeah. In the north end of the map. Taking a look, Eternal Gardens, yep, they were spread out there. AXFF is a part of that 50-50. See, Hakeem's chosen how they're so versatile in where they land. and they're very confident in their 50-50s. Yes, RNG is involved, and yes, sometimes they lose, but Alpha Base, they're coming for AXFF off the drop, and they take down one. They still have 2 remaining to chase down, and it is very possible to get 2v3'd, especially off drop here. So they're gonna have to take it easy. Shots are going through. Luckily, an armor swap. This is the RNG I'm talking about. They're not gonna be slowed down by the damage AXFF have done. And Hakeem's is taking height, playing numbers, 3 versus 2. They've got a flank as well. Ahmed's going in the back.
Playing it slower, trying to figure out how they want to make this approach. This is its own contained fight, so no big rush into it. Door's going to go ahead and get breached. Making the move in, seeing if they can spot out. Do have an idea. Shots are going to connect. Door's going to close back behind them. That's going to be essentially a death right there. Nothing that can be happening in that one. Now just going to start racking them up. I think it's going to be one still up, trying to get away back behind. Nope, actually trying to make the assault in now, moving into a 1v1. It's just one member of the teams near on no life, trying to finish this one out.
Oh my goodness. Toucan, last one remaining on Hakeem's. They were in a 3 versus 2 situation, but what did I say? AXFF can pull off a 2 versus 3. You see it all the time in Apex Legends. Festy going through inside. Toucan dying. That is Hakeem's eliminated in their 2 versus 3. But the question is, does AXFF have time to retrieve the banner, or has it already? Yep, it already timed out. So AXFF, a duo off the bat. But like I mentioned earlier, the point system. For 3 eliminations, that's 3 points. They're going to start off strong, and Festy is the kill leader.
I mean, not the best, not the worst. You at least managed to pick up 3 KP inside of this. One of your members is down. Circle's not too far away. We did get a northwestern circle for this one, so they should have an easy pathing in. This has been pretty much it. The Eternal Gardens did just go into a 50-50 split of positional, but it is going to be, I believe, We Don't Play that is now starting to roam around into the north. A couple of small skirmishes now starting to happen down next to Bionomics, as we're starting to see that one line up right here.
Okay, no fray. They were the first team eliminated in our game that never counted. So, this is our first game. 17 squads left remaining. Here comes the 50-50 Pathfinder grapple. Very nice distance on that grapple. No Fray are going to manage holding their position, taking these buildings. They're not quite connecting with the flat line from long range. And it looks like they want to close the gap. They're closing the distance, and this is how you do it. You start walking up, playing line of sight, making sure you have cover in front of you, and trying to get that opening damage, but it doesn't look like they're very confident in this.
I mean, they got some damage out, and while they do have a pretty good shield situation, it does look like, yeah, it just took too long, so they have no exact idea where the team repositioned to. So stepping away, waiting it out, I think is the safer option for now, but with everything that's going on and where this firefight is located, there is a team that has moved down. It's Assassin and Dratini have already moved into a position around Terraform. It looks like they were trying to third party into this one. But now with Drop Snail coming out, throw down some explosives, it looks like these teams are just trying to separate away as HKE is going to be moving into the north.
I feel for Slander right now. Every time I get hit by a Bangalore ultimate, I'm slowed for it seems like 999 seconds. And Slander's going to have to heal up. They do have a chance to utilize this finisher, and they're not finishing to mock the other team. They're finishing to recharge those shields. You see how Slander's shields went from 2/3 to 3/3 full shield? Well, that's what happens when you finisher someone on the ground. So you save yourself a bit of shield cells, which is great. And honestly, this was your underdog team, and they're performing really well to start with.
You can do it. You can see on the opposite side of the map, another firefight coming through. One done Aqua. They have some pretty decent control on this one. Mirage is going to come out, get some vision inside, are going to be able to pick up the knock.
Mirage is not going to bamboozle anyone today as they just get a triple kill and Rookie Rebels is eliminated. But they are indeed getting third-partied by Moonstars right now. They've participated in 2 of our qualifiers, placing top 4 and top 8. And here they come into the finals, starting strong with a nice third party.
Did they get the information? It looks like the way that they're moving, they're trying to herd them into a spot that they do want to put them into. So now Moonstars is starting to make their approach in on the side of it. How much is this vision going to pay off for them? Now, trying to make the run in as fast as possible. Smoke's going to come out, and that might be the deterrent. I don't know. You're going to start running into some dangerous sight lines from that point forward. So I do like stepping away, hop on the rail, reposition, as it looks like both teams are going to get some distance away from each other. But Moonstar's got to be careful with this pathing. It looks like Ashiri and his squad might be coming up back behind them.
Oh my goodness, now they are going to be the ones getting pinched. This is your awareness on top of the map. Which ways could teams come and fight you, essentially? And yep, you were right, Ashiri and them, they're going to connect here on top of these two buildings. Ashiri's team, Sekeli, on top of the building. Lloyd playing Fuse, doing a great job, doing good damage, but gets traded out with damage, so he's going to have to pop a shield battery while his teammate cover fires with the G7 Scout double tap. It's doing insane amount of damage, and that might be enough damage to close the gap and get themselves a little bit of an advantage on this fight as the other team runs away. They're taking height, but can they catch them before they run away? Nice head glitches there on the low ground. I don't think they're going to full commit onto this fight.
It's still not over for Moonstars, though, because while they are moving through that ravine into the north, there is another squad playing just on the outside of that one. So while Sekeli did manage to herd Moonstars away, the circle is going to come into this direction, so they do have center position. They have to figure out how they're going to control that. Moonstars is just going to play on the opposite side, just hold down and bunker into the ravine. I like this. If they moved any further forward, they were probably going to have some issues. Now, that does mean that the death funnel is going to be down into that southeastern area. Yeah, as you can see, a couple of teams now starting to stack up pretty close to each other. That noise having a couple of friends right up on top of them.
Yeah, near Promenade, nothing good ever happens. One fight occurs, and then there are 3 or 4 more teams on their way. But there are a decent amount of teams that have bunkered down in buildings inside of the zone, like you said, but we're not quite sure in which direction this is going to pull. Is it going to pull west? Is it going to pull north? Or is it going to pull south? We don't know. There's a few big mountains inside that zone, so we'll have to find out. But let's take a look at TXC. They've been a part of the Master Circuit essentially for the entirety of it. I mean, they may not have hit every single wild card, but they've been here from the beginning. Great team. We've got Raymond, we've got Sarah, and we've got Shagoon. We'll see how well they end up doing here for the rest of the day. CEP, they've only got 1 left remaining on their team, but he's holding his height strong. This is actually a really interesting spot in Broken Moon. It's really high and hard to get up to without a Valkyrie or Horizon or maybe Pathfinder even. Not everybody knows about this spot, but it is legal play. It's a great position to have, but he does have to recover the banner. 50 seconds remaining.
This is where the death funnel has kicked off. We did have KTTV Peril, who had to run away from this position as well. We have what looks to be a 5th team now potentially moving into this area, as Koopy is going to be moving in the complete opposite side of the circle. Shot's going to come in, does decent damage for it, so Koopy is just going to be able to take a second, reset. Other team members are going to be able to take the shots into him. Now, how long are they going to be able to hold this one out? Because while this is happening, 3rd and 4th parties could become more potential, as it looks like a couple of teams do hear this and are eyeing this direction. Koopy doing a good job resetting. Now stepping back around, good shots to connect in, burn down the shield, and Koopy is getting more and more authority inside this fight.
Slander's feeling confident, but is it going to be a little bit too confident as other teams are coming in with charge rifles on the back? Or is he going to be okay? Slander's going to pop a shield battery. This is what I tell everybody. Try and play it as safe as possible if you're even on the trade. So shield batteries are going to pop, but they do have their backs wide open to the other teams. Koopy, they've regenerated. He's looking in the air. They have a Horizon that took a really nice angle on them, but they're going to be okay. Arcstar's going to come out. They're trying to corner them. They're trying to get a single opening, but it doesn't seem like they're going to go forward with that fight any longer.
Got to be careful. They didn't have Last Eos as well as Festy back behind them. So with Koopy now making a move into the circle, this is going to be paralleled just to what would be their west is going to be where the other team is lined up. But there are 2 duos coming in right back behind them. So with this now going to go ahead and look like they're leaning into the high ground, are going to get vision into it. Spray is going to connect for a ton of damage, but 1 member down. Koopy trying to continue this one up. Shots now continuing to hit. Are they going to make the push in? It looks like White Paint Powder does want to take this one, but it's starting to get pretty low. Koopy might have bitten off more than they can chew. It's just going to be White Paint Powder looking like he's just going to be trying to get away. But while he's going to be trying to run away, this is going to be exactly where those duos were coming in from. So can White Paint Powder at least find a point to kind of bunker down and get away from it all, as one of the duos you can see flying off in the distance chooses just to jump over all of this and not get involved.
Koopy started off really strong by taking out the new castle on TXC, but unfortunately they just had the lesser position. They had to traverse the open field, the open roof, and they got out-traded. So unfortunately for them, TXC is going to get a full recovery, and Koopy are going to be down to one left remaining. Shagoom goes for the thirst on my life, and now there's 14 squads remaining. It's coming down to a tighter circle. We've got about 5-6 teams on the north end and same thing on the south, and everyone's going to have to reconvene into that center circle. It's going to be tough.
Do want to point out, not seeing a whole bunch of We Don't Play hanging out inside this circle, as the pathing looks like it was slightly problematic for him. White Paint Powder is just going to hunker down in here. There are 4 teams all converging in this one spot, so not going to be too much longer for this world. He's trying to figure out some way out of it. You can see Dratini trying to get some heightened vision in what's going to be going on, as he's going to bump right into Festy down below him. Now it's just going to be continued shots, as that looks like that is going to be the control. Red Fade is going to get faded there. And the tension has now been drawn out. Snorlaxi is going to be looking into this, and yeah, this is just too compacted. North and south, and the way that these choke points have lined up, this is just going to be a bloodbath for anybody that's not yet comfortable inside the circle.
XFF are doing really well as a duo, managing to pick up more kills as the tournament goes on. They're top 13. They can make top 10. That's a really big game for them, with 5 kills and a few more placement points. No Frey are still alive here in actually a really good building, but there are so many entryways to the building that they're in. You can see there are multiple doors to come through, so it's going to be really hard to defend without a Caustic, without a Catalyst, without a Watson, any defensive legend. So they're going to have to play more aggressive, make sure nobody pinches them inside of this building. And you can see the Seer making sure to let people know that they are there and they're not a force to be reckoned with.
Looks like some of the teams are now starting to line up more and more defensively in the north. The ones in the south are starting to try to bypass in, so it is just going to be chaos for every section of this for at least the next 30 seconds, as different teams are vying just to try to get into positions. Moonstars did manage to recover, and they're the ones that are holding down into the east. Up into the north, you can see that this is just the key factor in everything that's going to be going on. And with this, we're actually going to have White Paint Powder trying to sneak in from the north of this, using this as a distraction. Most of the teams now starting to force their way into the circle, or at least finding some small foothold to try to play from, except for poor old Anubis over there on the opposite side of the ravine.
Viper Squadron still alive, one of our teams to watch on the south end, where we might actually see a 3v3 go on with Moon Squad. Other than that, I don't see too much. Yeah, we don't play. I don't know if they're a duo or a trio. It looks like they're a trio, so yes, it is going to be a fair 50-50, but we don't play. Doesn't seem like they want to fight at all. They're playing very passively.
Now Frost still just holding down. Circle is going to pop, and it continues a hard shift into the west. So that means the fact that really just one team kind of comfortable in this position. So No Frost is going to have to make a move. And they find themselves now gate kept out of pathing along this circle. They're going to have Anubis that's down behind them to the southeast, and 2 teams into the west. And with just a rock cropping to the south means the fact that they're going to have to figure out which way that they want to path around this. It is going to be TXC on the other side.
Not much real estate to be had in this final circle. There is one building, maybe 2 floors to it, and then there's just a bunch of rocks and terrain to play around. So this building might get contested or landed on later on, but now we're going to be seeing the zone close. Very nice flatline shots with the 3x inside of the building. That's quite hard to track, honestly, at that close of a range, but he is doing it. Lloyd on the fuse. He's going to have his knuckle clusters as well to be able to force teams outside. Playing with the fuse inside is really, really advantageous. But oh my goodness, his teammate actually got shot from behind. They were unaware. Dominus taking him down. Lloyd's going to cover fire for his teammate. He's going to have to go for the quick revive just in case another third party comes. They are going to prioritize living. And that's a good team that I like to see Sekeli playing it perfectly.
Problems are starting to mount. Those teams are now starting to move in and can potentially gatekeep. While this has been going on, We Don't Play made a jump over everybody, and they ended up around TXC. So with those shots, No Frogs are going to get eliminated up into the northeast of everything's going to be happening. There we go. We Don't Play making the drop in. This is a pivotal fight for getting control right along this cliff facing, and it looks like We Don't Play has all of the control. The numbers advantage, still sitting good on shields. Namka has to be careful, but does manage to juke away, get down into some cover, but is going to go down. We Don't Play dropped right inside of a trap. While this is happening, Anubis is on the outside. He's managed to reposition into this one, and he can take some peppering shots into this as well. Roma just trying to get away from this, going to throw down whatever utility he has, but got the zone right up on top of him, gets some good vision, takes some shots, trying to connect with what he can, but this is just going to be trying to bounce around. There is no safety to be had. So with this, TXC now has a path in, as all the teams have moved into the south. It is just Anubis in front of them.
TXC is playing so incredibly well. Yes, Sarah's going down, but they're utilizing everything to take her down in each and every fight. Moonstars, we were talking about them earlier. They ended up getting a fight as well. They are going to go down. That is 2 Minute Esport. They're going to take a few kills for themselves as well. As we move back towards TXC, they are fully recovered. They got Sarah back up, and they are ready to win this game. But can they win? They have no real estate. The team that does have the real estate is still in the next zone, so they're going to have to fight their way in.
2 Minute Esports right now holding back. I believe that's Coppernick Pizza, who were trying to watch this and figure out exactly how they wanted to jump in. Was hoping the fact that they might be able to third party, but just did not find the opportunity to do so. So, team's kind of holding down inside the circle. We're just trying to look through, make sure that they deny any pathing. And there we go. 2 Minute Esports looks like they have found their opportunity, and they're just trying to push them further and further away from that safe zone. 2 Minute Esports using the terrain, finding multiple angles of approach, and I don't think that we're going to see anything that Coppernick Beats can be able to do about this one. They are just getting pushed from every single angle, and they're going to go down.
Well, they made 5th place, and that's pretty good. 4 placement points for that. 2 Minute Esports making top 4. Great push, but take a look at this. 18 seconds left, and this zone is gonna hurt, so they gotta figure out a game plan to get in that zone as soon as possible, and they don't have more than 10 seconds to figure it out. So here we go. The looting game is over. Andre looks like he's going to gatekeep them himself.
TXC uses opportunity to move in. They've got control of the north. Looks like they're trying to take the shots in 2 Minute Esports. Looks like just a couple of harassing shots are going to push him right up on top of Andre. So with Andre holding down this position, looks like he's going to get spotted down. So VXTG going to get eliminated. Really, while all this going down, Grimoire and the rest of the squad that have the only real compound inside this are just chilling. Nobody's coming near them, and all the firefight is in this northeastern area.
I love finals day. The action is just 10 times better as there's so much on the line. And you can feel it from these players. TXC playing so incredibly well. They found somewhere to hide behind. They found a wall. Raymond's going to tank zone, so he's actually going to cancel the shield battery and play a little bit closer, hopefully. Bangalore's ultimate does not kill him. He's popping this medkit. He's going to be safe, and we are down to a 3 versus 3 versus 3 scenario. This is going to come down to the wire. They have a Newcastle. Newcastle, we've seen in many tournaments before, play really well in the end zone because you can make your own cover. But what are they up against?
I'm going to want to point out that wall directly in front of TXC. You can see that slight curve inside of it. That is going to probably be very, very pivotal inside this fight. That's pretty close to the center point and can break sight lines off the way this is set up, because this is kind of a triangle of teams right now. We've got one team that's due north, one that's west, and one that's east, with that right smack in the middle of it. So you can see that wall can kind of break some of the sight lines and really kind of focus down the fights. But also does mean the fact that pathing options could be a little bit easier than we're expected, given how sparse this whole situation is.
Yeah, it's a 3-way fight, and each team has about the same amount of space as each other, so it's really going to come down to the wire as the zone closes in. who is going to focus who. Too Many Esports, they still have Horizon, so they might be able to utilize grenades and her ultimate, and even her Q just to stay in the air and survive a little bit longer. Pathfinder's not necessarily that impactful at the end. Maybe he can get a good high ground spot or be able to juke behind another team. We'll have to see that with his grapple, but here we go. The zone is closing in and the action's about to unfold.
Grimoire's already made a move to the wall and gotten control over it. So with this, Too Many Esports realizes they're starting to lose the battle over into the north. Instead, shifts down to the south. They don't have a chance to really wrap into this one, but with Grimoire moving in along that wall, TXC also doesn't have too many more pathing options. Both teams now trying to vie for anything that's any type of movement that's happening on the eastern half of this circle. Is any type of move they make are going to get vision up on top of each other. So with everything that's going to be going on, TXC trying to figure out where do we even try to make a move from. As you can see, everything is exploding around them. They know where the angle of approach is, but there's just nothing easy to be had on it. Now, finally, we're going to see a shift into the south, as it is going to be Too Many Esports trying to get some angles into it. TXC going to try to use this, come in right back behind them to try to an opportunity, take the shots in, do get some damage in, but this is all working well for what's going on along this wall. Shots now going to start coming out. Raymond taking a ton of damage, and he's going to find himself having to run away from this firefight, come back into the wall, and everything is trying to slow down, but there's just no way to keep it this compressed as Raymond's going to go airborne yet again.
My goodness, they gotta find Fake Taxi before he gets the shield battery off. I think it's gonna be a 3 versus 3 here. Sarah Southcliffe going in with the Volt. She cracks one. Shagoom's 1 HP to going down, but I think they're gonna have it. They punched the other one. There's one more left. Sarah's in a 1v1. She hasn't put any damage on them, though. That Pathfinder's actually got red armor. She's gonna go for the revive, utilizing the shield to stay alive, but will she be able to get this off? No, she doesn't. One Don't Aqua are your champions of the finals. Game number 1. Amazing stuff. Good game.
I mean, just very cleanly played, understanding where that they needed to play from, understanding where the strength of position was, and it got kind of dicey there at the end, moving into that, I guess, a boxing match, oddly enough, like we were talking about at the start for, I guess, what, a couple of seconds at least.
There might have been some miscommunication. It seemed like they were winning the fight in their perspective. They're like, okay, we got 1 down, we got 2 down, but nobody ended up touching that Pathfinder. With his versatility, he ended up going from behind and knocking them 1 by 1. It was just amazingly played by One Don't Aqua, and they prioritized the revive. They actually had a revive in that 3v3v3. Taxi ended up getting revived, popping a shield battery and fighting. So they did have the disadvantage in HP, but they prioritized that revive, and that's essentially what got them the win.
Yeah, there was a very interesting section whenever we saw that One Don't Aqua had one of their members down, and the way that they were playing right along the zone wall as it was coming in addition to the wall that was right there, kind of creating their own secondary barricade with their down member in the shield. And that's a scary thing to try to do in that situation. But again, it just comes down to the Pathfinder control that was up on top, I believe, of the wall at that time, shooting down in the opposing team.
Yeah, and they had to fight back-to-back teams. They did not have that end zone easy. They had to fight Too Many Esports off of them, surviving that, and then taking that 3v3 against TXC in the end. Wonderfully played, and you can tell that their mechanical skills really, really came in to play here, surviving both of those teams. Is incredible, really.
This was an aggressive game. I think that's to say the least. When you see several hard shifts like this, we just end up almost as west as you could get inside the circle. It means the fact that there were so many firefights of all the teams that were dropping over into the eastern sections of the map, just having to bisect with each other. We don't play being one of those teams. This is a team that we know loves to roam, loves to go for kills early, and they just didn't really get a chance to stabilize inside of a circle.
No, they haven't. We don't play. We've seen them. We've been expecting them to actually be the team to beat, but it didn't seem like they had a great start off to this tournament. But that's what makes it really exciting. You can feel the pressure throughout this entire lobby from minute number 1 until now. I'm so excited for the next game.
I thought Raymond was down there. I'm not even going to lie. When he stepped around and he was that close to the wall and got that much damage thrown out, he made it back away, came back around this angle, managed to get his shields back up and jump into the firefight, but You can see this is the shield battles as they were moving forward. Everybody is just trying to block each other out. It was a very defensive ending, to say the least.
Yeah, you see that oftentimes with Newcastle. They utilize the shield, but then they let go and shoot back once the opponent or enemy team has to reload. But she didn't get the chance to because they were just shooting nonstop. They never had to reload. And maybe she made a small mistake there by not reloading and using her fist there at the end, because if she had reloaded, maybe they would have put more damage faster. But here we are, one down Aqua with the statistics. 1,500 damage on Grimoire and Rose with 1,690. How many kills do we have here? 12 kills?
12 kills to start off. Grand Final is not too shabby. On top, picking up a win. Master Circuit feeling pretty good right now for one done Aqua. So we'll have to see if the trend can continue, because we are now 1/5 the way through the Grand Final. So one good game, great for you. Going to walk away with 24 points. But TXC, Sarah Sutcliffe, and Raymond, you saw the fact that they were very active inside of a lot of these fights. So not too big of a lead ahead of them, only 5 points. And then 2 Minute Esports also in the tail end of that, going to be walking away with 15.
We haven't seen TXC pop off in this wildcards too much. I guess they were saving all of their strategic plans for the finals. I'm so excited and happy to see it with those 19 points. 2 Minute Esports as well. Coppernick Pizza, we've seen them play once in our last qualifiers, and they took second. So definitely excited to see more from them as well. We don't play. You know they're going to be on fire next game. You know they're going to feel a little bit of pressure to catch up. From 5 points to 24 is not easy, but we still have 4 games left to go.
We have been trending more to the western side for a lot of our circles. It's one of the things we've been kind of chit-chatting about off and on again about the meta and how the map moves. This one was more northern in our western shifts than we've been seeing regularly, and I think that threw off a couple of teams in their planned pathing on how they expected the circles to come down. So first game can throw some curveballs, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody finding some more comfort inside of this now and having an idea on who's going to be dropping next to them. And maybe see, I am kind of curious, as We Don't Play has been so, I guess, vital to talk about inside of every single one of our qualifiers moving into there. They had somebody that dropped at Eternal Gardens with them and then had continual shifts to the opposite side of the map. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to adapt to that.
Yeah, they definitely have to adapt, as well as Hakim's too. They took a 50-50 and they ended up losing a 3 versus 2. So that's going to hurt. I wonder if they're going to switch their POI as well.
Always.
But yeah, We Don't Play. It was rough. It was rough for them. They're normally one of those aggressive type teams that eliminate everyone in their path. But since it's finals day, everyone's feeling the pressure and everyone's staying alive. No one's easy to kill anymore because they've had all of this practice throughout all of the qualifiers. This is the finals. This is our best of the best teams. And no fight is ever going to be easy. And if even one of them goes down, like for example, AXFF, one of them went down early on and they had to play as a duo. And I don't believe they managed to make top 10, even though they're a great team and they got 5 points off of kills. They still didn't make it into that top 10 for extra placement points. So every team is going to have to adapt. We're going to, they were trying to play for the win, but were they a little bit too scared? Because we've seen them almost get in a fight with, I believe, Moonstars. They didn't take it. Normally they take those fights. Normally they're aggressive. And normally the team with the most confidence and that plays exceptionally well, they win that fight clean too. So we're going to see if they have a change of pace in the next game, because maybe the pressure that we were talking about before got to them.
I mean, you got to come in with some swagger on top of it. And we talk about that. Game ones can sometimes be too passive. Those are always like the problem you look at, right? You get the lead, you want to start playing to survive, so you play too passive, you lose the lead. You want to come in and have a good game one, so you don't want to get too aggressive early, and then suddenly you go out early because you weren't being aggressive. It's very hard to manage, specifically in the fast-paced action that Apex can provide and how fast people can get right up on top of you. You've got to be so careful, and IGL boots are hard to fill, and especially when you get to the finals, it gets harder and harder.
Matt, you said it earlier, you want a PS5, and so do these teams that are competing today, so that's so much pressure for everyone involved today, and that's probably what's getting their nerves all bundled up here, but we're going to have game number 2 starting shortly. I just can't wait to see what unfolds. Are Hakim's gonna take another 50-50? I can't believe they lost it, but AXFF is a formidable team, and they did a great job, especially with that devotion. It's just like, you have unlimited ammo just spraying down the last two. It was really fun to see.
I'm very easy to please. If I see an LMG, it makes me happy. I guess the accuracy through volume is the way that I look at trying to shoot and hit things. So whenever I see somebody else have to do it because the fact it's the only thing they can pick up, makes me happy. Feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I'm the opposite. I like snipers or wingman. Wingman's been one of my favorite, but I actually really like the 30-30 repeater, and I'm sad to see the G7 Scout having to go in the care package. So they're changing the care package soon. G7 Scout and Car SMG are going to go into the care package on the next update, I believe. And honestly, those are some of our most popular weapons chosen by our teams here. So definitely some disappointment from them, but for now they get to use them, so they are all excited and ready to play.
Abuse what you can while you got it. One Dun Aqua found a way to abuse the last game, figured out how to, I guess, just bully their way into the ending, and really, it does need to be said that they did a good job on defending that circle for quite a while beforehand. Remember, they were one of the few teams that, they were the only team, actually, that had a compound for several of those circles. So, have to see how this one moves through.
Whoever their IGL was definitely knew where the zone was pulling, or had a great idea of a spot to go, and they lucked out as the zone pulled closer and closer to them. But yeah, like you said, they had to fight for it. They had to achieve it. They had to rotate to it. They had to defend it. And then they had to kill two teams back to back. So they did a great job. Let's take a look at everybody landing. Do we have any 50-50? Okay, so we do have a 50-50 contest at Atmo Station. And we have one at Stasis Array and another one at Alpha Base. So there's going to be a lot of fighting off job. Oh, even Bionomics. Only one team going Terraformer, but let's take a look at this. One Dun Aqua, our teams to beat. Right now, the team you want to eliminate would probably be them.
Got to be so careful right now. It looks like they are going to be able to just kind of hunker back down. This is getting to be an awkward fight, as they are right up on top of each other in Atmo Station. So any type of meds, any type of shields you can find at this stage is going to be huge for the fight that's going to be coming. Atmo Station is kind of weird. Do you think that these two teams can loot this way? I don't think that it's big enough for that, is it?
Yeah, two teams can loot here and dip for sure. I feel like there's so much loot around the no-name areas of the map that it's okay. It's not favorable, but it is okay, especially with crafting. So whoever stays here the longest will get crafting, will get beacon. Whoever leaves could loot parts of Terraformer, as it has... I like to say it has enough loot for 4 teams, but people like to challenge me with, let's take a look and see if 4 teams land there in a tournament. I don't think it's really going to work out, but definitely enough for 2 teams for sure. And Terraformer's only occupied by 1. But it's all depending on if they want to fight or not. This is a relatively safe spot to fight. Doesn't get third-partied too fast, but it will if you prolong the fight for too long.
Micro drones detected. That means Moonstars, while they're trying to play defensive in these donut buildings, is they're closer to the circle, as on the other side of it, the team that's going to be needing to move in is more to the southeast of this. So really, I feel like this is just kind of jockeying for position right now. Neither one of these teams you can see playing too aggressive. It's just more about information gathering at this stage. We do have the other 50-50 that's going up on Alpha Base, but this has kind of been it, as the one around Atmo does look like it's managed to pull apart. You can see that the speed and aggression that's coming out of this one is with the drones again. Is this going to be a go sign? Nope. Still no real shots connecting.
The head glitches in Bionomics are just so good that it's really hard to get a good damage unless you have one of those poking guns, like a sniper or a wingman. But actually, let's just take a look at Hakim's for a moment, because they're in a 50-50 again. Actually, 2 of them going down almost instantaneously. Hakim's are not looking good on this 50-50 as they get taken out by AXFF, and that was a clean fight. They were ready for this one. They're like, okay, you are not ruining our game again, Hakim's. and they take them out without losing a player this time, which is essential.
Who we don't play. Looks like they found some attention early on in this one. Still, the Eternal Gardens is the eternal fight. Got to be careful as they are going to lose one of their members. We don't play on the outskirts of this one. Now it's going to be no problem. Looking through, trying to make some moves in. We don't play only having one member up, and it's going to be Profin. Do not count him out just yet. Still just trying to juke around these doors. Gonna have to kick it in. Is he gonna try to find a new angle, or at least just go and reinforce his teammates? What's the play here? As it looks like trying to push a building by yourself while a res is going off is going to be so scary.
He's waiting for his missiles. I think he's going to use them to break down the door. Yes, he does. He's going to get the stun off as well, but he does manage to hit himself as well. He is in this 1v2, but he might be able to go for the revive instead because his teammate ended up going so far down. They did use the Seer Q cancel, so this won't end up being canceled. It might end up being pushed, so he will have to defend his teammate. For now, are they going to play as a duo? Nope, his teammate goes down and he's getting pushed. 1 versus 2 situation. We don't play. Not looking too good in the finals today. No Frey with the Seer advantage. They are going to be on a 2 versus 1 chase. They did not get the revive on their teammate just yet, but it seems like it's probably should be prioritized right now as we don't play. And Mr. Profin stays alive and gets that armor swap.
Almost managed to hide behind the tree there, but so that's gonna be we don't play losing 2 as the Eternal Gardens fight continuing. The circle did go pretty center, so too much going on. You were talking about the loot around Terraformer. It looks like we do have 2 teams that are vying for that southeastern, I guess, triangle section down there around that location. Cultivation also looks like it's going to have some fun as I believe Grimmore and the rest of his team are going to be getting involved in a fight in just 1 second.
Okay, CEP. Did you say against One Done Aqua?
Yep, I think that they're the ones on the opposite side.
All right.
Continuing.
Okay.
They haven't managed to get like their feet under them yet.
They like to fight for sure. Beover going in with the ultimate, so they're not going to be able to maintain high ground for long. Very nice shot, 70 damage, I think, on Flash, so they should be pushing up on this. The only thing is he doesn't want to run into his own ultimate. He's going to be running inside on his own. There's a team right in front of him. This could be dangerous. Committing inside all by himself. He's going to manage to take height. But since there's so many entryways, Grimoire actually ends up going down. Smathini taking him down with the R3-1. This is a 3 versus 2. They're going to kick the door down. They're going to use the missiles like we saw earlier. And they're going to be pushing in 3 versus 2.
Rings now come in, trying to make the chase. Smoke doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Trying to connect in the shots. See if they can get a down inside of it. Maybe just try to use the chaos, the lack of vision inside. Now it just looks like making a break for it, trying to get out of this position. CEP trying to survive, and what's going to be going on is they now find themselves on the outside of this. Rookie Rebels is going to get eliminated while all this is going on. Looks like CEP has realized, okay, this might be too much. While this is happening, team has moved in. It's going to be Andre and his squad that has managed to move in and might be gatekeeping out both of these teams.
Don't want to be in the zone since the zone changes. Does a little bit of damage, so if you're almost out of heals, you do want to make your way in. They want to make this banner recovery soon, but they do have time to wait. Oh, the enemy team gets a revive in, so they're going to have to play aggressive on this one. They know they're in a 2v2, but their third player is going to fall down from the sky soon. So banner recovery maybe? Or are we going to see a 2 versus 3 fight inside?
Looks like the defense is still going to have to happen inside of this position. CEP looking to move slowly and steadily through it. Trying to get to the banner. As you can see, it's going to be shots coming in from the other side of this one. One done Aqua, not wanting to relent just yet. Hanging on the outside. Good damage going to come in, and they are going to get the knock onto one of the CEP members. Now, CEP just being hunted down, just trying to get away. Very few options going to be had in this. Yes, CEP is eliminated. One done Aqua turns a bad situation into a good one.
Wow. They have been our best fighting team thus far in the finals. No doubt about that. They take any bad situation and turn it into a good one. It's got to be the decision making for this squad, because even if they lose one, they manage to get them back up as soon as possible and win their fights. They're doing a great job in our finals today.
Yeah, it's the groove, right? We talk about momentum. Sometimes once you just have yourself a good game, you start vibing, you start feeling like you're going to be able to take on the world. And so when you end up in a situation like this, after it starts off not feeling so good, you still feel like you can get the win because you just got the win. And they managed to do it. Overall, now coming in on the east of this, as the circle did lean more north this time, kind of around Stasis Array and Northern Promenade, as this is a pretty open ending circle.
Yeah, this ending circle near Stasis Array, it has a lot of buildings, but you never know where it's going to end. It's going to end on the west side, or is it actually going to end near Stasis Array? We're about to find out. Normally doesn't end south of Promenade, but hey, the game might prove me wrong. I'm trying to remember what end zones I've really seen happen around here, and I don't see any because ranked games don't tend to go down to the wire and into the very last small circle. But hey, we're going to find out here shortly. Koopy making the rotation. They want to play high ground, which is great. They can look over the entirety of Stasis Array, but they won't see it ending there. They actually scanned the beacon, as you can see the green circle on the screen. So they do have Valkyrie. They do have Skyward Dive if they do want to make a rotation early.
So with this, that means that west and that more barren area is probably going to be what we're going to be looking at. We have a ton of teams that are stacking into the west. So with these shots coming out from Koopy, forcing teams on the opposite part of the circle not being able to move, this high ground is really going to start pinching the opposite side, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams, maybe even 7, all pathing into a very small section that's going to be around that Northern Promenade area. And that just can't be supported there. There is going to have to be a fight to get control of that position. There are a couple of teams that could be moving in back behind White Bay Powder and the rest of his team as well, but it's the remnants of the Eternal Garden situation. Mr. Pruffin is still alive over there.
Yeah, I feel like the building that Ishri and their squad is in tends to get pinched. You know, if you have one of the best buildings and there's like one zip line that goes towards it, you're going to see teams trying to take both sides and chip you down slowly but surely. So having defensive legends in those buildings is really crucial. I've had it happen to me in a tournament where, you know, there's a building, 2 zip lines connect to it, you're trying to watch both sides, but both teams are putting pressure. What do? You just got to stay alive at that point and try and play your life. But they do indeed have a great building. Actually, I think it might end towards them as well, if I were to guess correctly, but I don't know.
That's kind of what I'm feeling too. That western area and that opening that's just going to be to the east of their compound, I feel like is going to be the play on where the circle goes. But circles do what circles are going to want to do. PMN. Looks like they're trying to get some verticality, but that roof is going to deny some of it. Problems are going to start to build up as, again, you can see what's going to be happening over here into the west. We've got a fight that's going to be happening in the south and just due west on top of it. PMN just trying to get away, pick up the banner, and going to try to be running away from this position, because what else are you really going to be able to do? Just kind of wrap back around Promenade itself, and you are going to be able to come in around where we are going to see, I think it's One Done Taxi that's coming in over there. There you go. You called it, and that's pretty much where we're going to be headed.
Yeah, and take a look at the respawn beacon just slightly outside the zone to the south. They might end up using that, or I believe it may be in the crafter. They may be able to utilize that, but TXC, one of our greatest teams to play so far today, they are in a hurdle. They are in trouble. I'm not quite sure who is pushing them so far, but they're in core. They're getting pushed. Sarah surviving this time around. She's going to use her ultimate as well. She has the support of her teammates nearby as she pops some syringes. Doesn't have a med kit to use so far. Oh, look at the damage that their team have done. It looks like Shagum's actually going to take down Throkey. So now they're in a 3 versus 2 situation. 3 versus 1. Make that 3 versus 1. Flojo's now done as well. They did a great job. While Sarah was in trouble, Raymond and Shagum just output so much damage that it doesn't really matter. And 2 Minute Esports was eliminated.
This gets a little bit more control over this area, and TXC now has at least some type of pathing into it. FMA might be the problem that's going to be into the northeast, depending on how we see Vision come in. Down to the south of them, I believe that's Coppernick Pizza, but they're going to have a compound in between, or not a compound, but a rock wall in between them. So depending on how we see them opt into moving, it looks like they are going to be going to the south, moving back behind them. One Done Aqua, feeling pretty good. I mean, coming in from Promenade, looks like they're going to be trying to make a path right into that compound you were talking about. Everybody's going to want it, but wow, Grim Vortex a face full of lead, and that's going to stop them before they want to make any more of this push.
This is the open field you were talking about, and Gibraltar Ultimate's going to come down. No cover to use, so you're just going to have to dodge it if you can, and they're doing an okay job of it, but Greenmore's in trouble. I don't know who's shooting at them. Okay, another team on the northeast. You're going to have to play under. And under is actually underrated. Underneath Promenade, it does have these corners that you could use. Yeah, take a look at this. Lots of cover from absolutely nowhere. And these smokes, too, are going to come in handy. Phoenix gets going to be popped off, and they might have themselves a third party to enter here. Good job eliminating Seer Ultimate. You want to do that before the start of every fight. Fighting against Seers are no fun. Look at this, 3 versus 2. He's gonna hop jump on top of this zip line, and there you go. In style, fake taxi Tucci. Definitely a taxi viewer for sure. Ending up this team.
I was gonna say, Mr. Prof was back behind that, watching that go down, and wants nothing to do with it. Instead, it's gonna wrap back into the north. There's a fight that's starting to brew over into the east, as it looks like, yep, it's gonna be AXFF. One, I think it's got White Paid Powder in his squad. They're going to be up on top of him. As this is not necessarily a firefight so much as it is just an awkward situation, as they are stacked up on top of each other. Right, I mean, nowhere to be gone. But Circle does actually move back into stasis array. I was not expecting this.
Okay, so we have a few buildings in stasis array to be played. This zone is actually very uncommon, so maybe some of these actually... By the looks of it, most of these teams were not expecting that because almost no one is on that side of the map. And One Down Aqua, they have found themselves in a pickle in Promenade. If they fight, they might get third party. There is another team nearby, but they are playing life. Lloyd in the kill feed, taking down one with his R301. And One Down Aqua, they're trying to figure out what they want to do. They have zone to worry about, but it looks like they want to play aggressive on these angles.
I mean, they're going to have to. So much attention starting to draw into the south with this Manifanzi on the opposite side of this one. So One Down Aqua is going to have to brute force their way through this with Mr. Profan right back behind him, waiting to backstab at any given moment. One Down Aqua also has to be very, very careful, as on that high ground it was VXTG that has circle control and in center position. You can see that a lot of vision to be had over here, as this is going to be back along what's going to be our end zone, and you can see teams trying to navigate through it. Koopy is going to be playing in the south, getting some vision, but there are 3 teams all navigating around this area, as everybody's just trying to gatekeep out any form of movement, as there are 4, maybe even 5 teams trying to move in.
You see someone, you shoot them. That's pretty much it. Ishri goes down. Azrael in the kill feed has a Kraber. That's something to look out for. Don't know where Azrael is, but that might ruin some games for a few teams. Sarah Sutcliffe's in a fight as well. Ishri and Sarah's team. Oh, TXC eliminated. TXC eliminated. Azrael getting a second knock on Peril in the kill feed. Perry's gonna get finished as well. Thirsted and dusted. Not many respawn beacons in the zone, so probably not gonna get revived here. As we continue to watch One Down Aqua. I'm just reading the kill feed, but let's take a look at One Down Aqua. Where can they go? They do have a bit of cover here. They actually are kind of safe, but one grenade might ruin their day, so they want to try and take more and more real estate.
Kaepernick Pizza was eyeing this direction, but instead opted into going to the north, trying to finish a firefight. That does mean the fact that One Down Aqua does get a move around, get some high ground advantage here, taking some shots in. They still end up with Mr. Profan back behind them all the time. One Down Aqua is going to have one of their members go down. As you can see, this is just, it's too thick. We have too many people alive, 19 alive at this stage. And the map is just a rainbow of teams and colors that are just trying to stay alive at this point, with nobody inside the safe zone really at this stage. One Down Aqua, while they do have some high ground, have got to be careful, because that's just drawing a lot of attention to themselves as well.
They thought My Life was a solo, but White Paid Powder on Koopy was doing some great cover fire and took out Taxi. They did not expect it. They thought that might have been Mr. Profan behind that by himself on that tree, but it just did not work out for them, and they had to pay for that push. So they're going to be put in a duo situation. Koopy, they do have to move, but all eyes are on this duo so far. 8 squads remaining. They have Valkyries, so they could use Skyward Dive, or they just walk it in. They have oversights on all these teams. They have maybe not the ultimate high ground, but the second ultimate high ground, which is pretty good.
Trying to figure out how they want to make the push, and those shots connecting like that are going to open up some opportunities to be had. Looks like one member is going to be moving much more aggressive into their face to see if we can get something out of that push. Shots now going to be coming out opposite side of this one, as it does look like we have one done Aqua trying to run away. VXTGR, though, has been holding down the center point for quite a while, harassing all these teams as they're trying to make their moves. They have a lot of teams wanting to get some vengeance back into them. The shots do connect with this. They have got to be careful as the circle is going to be coming in. So many shots are coming at them that they're going to have to still make a move with everybody that they've had to piss off right next to them.
VXTGR, they've only played one qualifiers, one wildcards to get into this finals, but this finals means a lot to them. As you can see, they are playing a great job of playing end zone, and they're playing together. PMN eliminated as well. This is Azriel on the Seer with all those Kraber shots that we're seeing the kill feed pop off earlier on, and the Volt comes in. He gets 19 damage, but he's a little bit afraid of the zone damage coming in. He's gonna go for the thirst maybe initially. Can he get these kills? Yes, they can. They connect the dots. Andre taking down Snorlax, and Kopernik Pizza eliminated right underneath their feet. Koopy not looking like they're in a great position. White Paint Powder is gonna go down. This is all up to Slander. We've seen Slander do it before. Can we see Slander do it again? Viper Squadron, a duo coming in from behind him. Slander is going to get the armor swap, but he's got 2 teams, one in his front, one in his back. He's gonna have to run away.
Everybody is jumping down into this. The dominoes are now falling. Viper Squadron trying to get control of what's going to be going on to the east of it. Dominus and Twiggy starting to get good control. They do step away from what's going to be happening over here, as 3 teams were just trying to compete and for the same position. Now, with everything settling out, Twiggy Dominus going to be moving away from it, but VXTG still holding down high ground and vision. They have moved into a 2-1 separation, with that one going to be Azriel down into the south, watching, I believe it is a duo and a solo, while the other 2 taking shots into Twiggy and Dominus. Nobody capable of moving into the center just due to the complete and utter lack of cover. A couple of shots going to connect, but nothing to open anything up. It's going to be Andre that eats most of that, but you can see they've got a plethora of loot to work with. Now it's just going to be everybody starting to get herded together. Who's going to hit the shots and who's going to get the angles? Grimoire is right below them.
So VXTG are the only full team, so this is their game to lose right now, but we're going to see if they can pull it off because they've got so many teams around them. They got the high ground, they got their line of sight on top, the team underneath them. They only have the wall for so long. I think they are going to put full focus on this team ahead of them. Good nade from the low ground, but not enough to take anyone down from VXTG.
You can see the Festi is trying to move forward on this every once in a while on the right side of the screen. They want to try to use this distraction, but Dominus Twiggy are just trapped over here. This wall is providing safety, but it means it's going to make a kill box here in a second whenever they have to try to leave. They're just trying to hope that they can get enough damage out, so whenever we see VTXG have to jump down, it causes problems, and man, did it ever. Jumping right down into it. Viper Squadron now lined up 2v2. Looking around the side of it, gonna walk in. They've got a ton of armor, but Twiggy goes down fast. AXFF lines that one through, picks him apart, and finds the angles for success.
My goodness, we did not expect that. VXTG, although they had the high ground, they had to jump down into their doom. And then there's that 2v2. My goodness. What a showing from these teams. That's going to definitely mix up the leaderboards there.
Oh, yeah. That was a very interesting game to watch because everybody kept seeing exactly where the cover pieces were and everybody wanted to move to it when we still have like, what, 10, 12 people alive and scrapping over it. And you saw all the teams on the map that we were watching converge down on top of each other, realize how many everybody was there, and then they just all went, nope, and then bursted back away from each other into different sections of the circle. And through that, it was a high ground advantage coming out for VXTG. But as the circle came in, they had to move into that low ground, and Dominus, Viper Squadron, did such a good job on distraction. XFF just managed to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought they had the best position, but they didn't end up having it because they had to drop. Most times you see teams drop, you see them kind of get beamed on their way down, and that's what happened there. But we were talking about how rare of an end circle. We don't see teams really fight down to the wire. So I don't know how many teams really knew what to do or which position was the best. And we just seen it come down 2v2, v3, v1, and then everyone had to collide, and it was just great.
VXDG, though, shouldn't feel too bad. I think that they walked away with a pretty hefty amount of kills, so it's going to be a good game for them as well. I think that we also saw One Done Aqua go down, I wouldn't say early, but I would say not in the position that they necessarily wanted to, so we'll have to see how their point totals are going to come up, as I feel like this is going to be pretty competitive of a leaderboard with a lot of these teams getting pretty close to each other now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of differences come into play. One Done Aqua, they still did decently well. I'm wondering how well they're doing on the leaderboards. TXC also, I think, they went down a bit early as well, and they were the top 2 teams. Here are highlights. See, EP, they almost took down One Done Aqua. They really did. They did a great job, but One Done Aqua, again, we see these teams just pull off these 2v3 miracles, and that's exactly what happened. CP ending up being eliminated early on, but they did pull up a good fight. One Done Aqua with the third party here. They noticed 2 knocked. Great job. Taxi with the really cool zipline jump right there that I was talking about. Great fight by them.
This is just absolutely crazy in the way that you see so many of these firefights lined up. It was beautiful spray right there. Koopy, they're kind of an unknown factor in this one, given the amount of events they've competed in versus everybody else. But I do have to say, though, this is the push, though. This is where everybody came in together. Viper Squadron managed to pick up some kills off of it. The firefight and the authority in which they moved in is what forced everybody to step back away. But now watch as these movements come in at the end of it. Viper Squadron just moves into the absolute right spot for this firefight.
Yeah, Dominus using the cover well, but it's not gonna be good enough. AXFF just had the better hand. They shot more shots. They hit more shots is kind of what happened there. And Dave, Eros, and Fessy, they're gonna be happy with that. We oftentimes see duos play really, really well together, even if someone I feel like it's easier to play with one rather than 2. You're playing a little bit more secure, but you're also taking advantage of everything you see, and it's probably just easier communicating with one rather than 2 people. You only need one person on the same page with you. And luckily for them, the trio had to jump. If it was any other team, if the trio was on the low ground together, they might have actually had the advantage in that situation. But unfortunately, they weren't in the best spot as they thought they were. But they did manage to get some good kill points with the Kraber and good placement points as well.
That was climbing atop a pile of legends in order to take that victory, because it felt like there were just so many teams dropping in that position. If you're watching right now and you're curious about what's all going on, we are in the grand finals for the Masters Circuit, and if you enjoy playing in these types of events, just know that you can go right down to this website below us, and that's going to be compete.playstation.com to get involved for a ton of games spread across not just Apex Legends, but fighting games, sports games, whatever your heart desires. We are going to be trying to take a quick break, though, to let the players kind of recoup, figure out exactly how they're wanting to approach these last 3 games, so we will see you guys in about 3 minutes or so. Just give us 1 second.
PlayStation.
games have been absolutely wild to kick off everything. But now it's just going to be moving into our tail end as we're just about 50% of the way through the grand finals. And girl, this is going to be interesting. I want to know who used that break most efficiently to figure out how to stabilize, because I don't think that we've seen a stable team yet.
Well, yeah, honestly, One Done Aqua, they're feeling really good. They're playing really well. AXFF, they had a great second game, but unfortunately the first game wasn't as well as they would have hoped. Final leaderboard standings after game 2. We've got One Done Aqua still in the lead with 36 points. AXFF at 26 points. They probably used the break the best, I would say, but I'm actually really surprised not to see We Don't Play on this first page.
I was about to say the exact same thing. We've gotten used to, like, I guess, a dominant nature whenever we look at EU, but whenever we're looking through this has just been very back and forth. Everybody has still gotten an opportunity to be playing through this when We Don't Play being our 11th place team. And I mean, even teams like Moonstars we've seen have some strong positions. Titans, Hakeems, a lot of these teams that we've seen really turn games on their heads just can't really seem to find a way to find success yet.
Yeah, We Don't Play. They have 7 points. They didn't take a good fight in our last game. They were playing a little bit too scared our first game. They didn't have the confidence, and they were a little bit overconfident the second game, but they do still have some eliminations and some placement points, and we're not even halfway through our tournament series yet today, so there still is plenty of time for teams to catch up. 36 points. It's doable for everyone so far up until now, and we have a third game to unravel. Who did take the best time? Well, we're about to find out. Who took their time to manage the strategy? We're about to find out, but since it is a battle royale, the zone pools are going to be different. It's hard to truly prepare for this. It's like a mental battle, as you said so earlier. It's the ability to have a bad game and then come back from it.
Processing information is the key part of finding success inside of Apex Legends, and while you can spend months preparing to play in events and playing through qualifiers, it's kind of crazy that sometimes it's just the 5 to 6 minutes that you get between a round to figure out what went wrong to pull yourselves up that leaderboard. But anyway, we are moving into game number 3, which will be our halfway point for this grand qualifier for EMEA. Now then, moving in, who has managed to find the keys to success? Who's going to be able to repeat? Are we even going to get a repeat, or are we going to continue to see teams just trading it out?
Honestly, for the third game, I think it's going to be a complete different winner. I think we might have a different winner for each and every game today. That's going to be my guess. That's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see everybody have a great day, but we've only got 5 games, so we can only have 5 game winners.
Pathing into this one, it looks like seeing any change-ups here, nothing too crazy. I think that most people at this stage pretty much know what they want to use, and I gotta give respect to Sarah Sutcliffe. She is finding success for TXC on a legend that not everybody else is playing, and she's committed into it.
Well, Sarah was one of our first stars in the Master Circuit. She pulled off a 1 versus 3 clutch in Storm Point back in the day, so definitely glad to see them back doing well in the top 3 and potentially being in the top 2, taking home some PS5s. That would be admirable.
Koopy, again, one of the best names to say. I always recommend everybody just, if you're ever feeling like you're having a bad day, just say Koopy. There's something about it. Makes you smile. Looks like we are going to see Dry Gulch be our location. Are we going to see Eternal Gardens get more friends yet again?
Well, it does look like there's at least one team there. One Done Aqua, they're actually going up to backup Atmo. Alright, that's interesting. I don't think they've been there in our last game. I think they 50-50'd an Atmo station. But they're going to take a 50-50 wherever they go, it seems. As for now, Eternal Gardens, no 50-50, actually. We've got Mr. Prof and Ram and Namka all alone in Eternal Gardens. Breaker Wharf is going to have the Moon Squad. FMA is going to play the west side of Core. Might see a 50-50 in Promenade, which is interesting, but nobody Terraformer, which really surprises me because that's my favorite place to drop in pubs. And if I could have that for free in a tournament, I would take it 10 times out of 10.
Feels like teams, every time they go there, they're having a bad time. So everybody has just decided that it is not the way to go, and now it is free. Looks like it's going to be up in the northeast, lined up over here. I think it's a VXTG. Yep, that's going to be them competing around that backup Atmo position. But like you said, that looks like that is going to be able to be split. And nobody really even having to take any shots for looting in this. I think this is a first so far today.
Yeah, it's incredible. Everyone is adapting as quick as possible, and that's what you really would like to see. Everyone looting, adapting. Azrael and their squad, they're going to go down south, but they're actually going to meet up with We Don't Play potentially, so that could be a little bit scary for them. One done off, but they've managed to claim backup ammo for the most part. They have most of the real estate there, looking down on everyone.
Oh, VXTG, you're about to have yourself a bad time if Mr. Namka saw that. There is also the 50-50 that's going on around core. That might develop into a firefight. One done Aqua does look like they are going to chase into this. I guess that they feel like they've got the better loot situation. So as now a couple of shots are going off, that means that We Don't Play are moving more aggressively into this. This might be a three-way firefight as we are getting some hit markers pop off, and it looks like we are going to get a nice step. Grimmamore finding a beautiful angle to kick this one off.
Wow, Grimmamore doing a great job, but this is going to be a really clean fight, so We Don't Play. They're going to have to look out if they're going to go for this third party, but One Done Aqua, they have to be able to react to this quickly and as soon as possible. I think they're going to spot them right now on the low ground. Yes, they are going to get some free shots. This was the crucial part of the fight overall. Grimmamore shooting someone on the high ground. Bangalore Ultimate coming down. Do they realize this is We Don't Play? Are they scared, or are they going to run away and try and play life, not take this fight, pick up the kill points that they did get and get on out of here? It looks like they are going to do so. So they're very aware of their surroundings. He's going to look back for his teammate, make sure he's not getting pushed. This is perfect gameplay coming in from them.
Pick up what you can whenever it starts getting too hot, get away, get into a better position. Now, We Don't Play is going to have to kind of look around and see what's going on around Atmo, and they're going to have to slow down to some degree. We have a lot of our teams that are starting to send into the center. It looks like they're going to be playing for position. And given the fact that we've often seen a lot of, like right along the edge of the circle, that's where a lot of our action has been going on, where a lot of our teams have been finding the way that they want to play, the more like frag-heavy approach. Now we're starting to see more of a center push coming out, as it is going to be Koopy trying to make a building push.
Yeah, everyone's realizing that there's not that much time left. Lloyd is going to go down, white pay powders. Sakeli eliminated it by Koopy. So Koopy doing a great job getting those kill points off early, and now it's looking like everyone has calmed down their nerves, right? Everyone's pushing everyone, taking the 50-50s off drop. You can see teams just dropping a little bit faster than the beginning of our tournament. And you can see everyone getting more comfortable with their gameplay, with their play style, but also most of the bottom teams on our leaderboard want to catch up.
Over into the northeast, around that alpha base position, We Don't Play that just made a jump across. FMA also has to be careful because I believe it's AXFF that was trying to rotate in, and now it is going to be a ton of teams now starting to stack over here, as One Done Aqua, I believe, has spotted out AXFF, who was playing right up against the wall after the shots came out from FMA. So there's a big firefight that could be brewing over everybody, as it does look like Festi has managed to get down and agree on war.
Ooh, One Done Aqua not looking so good in that situation, are they? And that's AXFF trying to take first place away from them, it seems. Very heavy push. Good way to dodge Bangalore Ultimate is to go up into the air with Horizon Q. Good job by them. This is going to be the chase. Can AXFF kill One Done Aqua completely, eliminate them from getting any placement points whatsoever in the third game? Can they do it? Can they catch up with any other teams interfering. They take down Fake Taxi 2G. They just need to take down one more, I believe, and AXFF are on the hunt. I think the hunt might be over. Yeah, it looks like they're going to get the thirst.
I think that Rosie has managed to get away and going to be moving into the south. Center fight's going to start continuing, but we also have some fights that are going on down to the south of it. That's what's kind of popping off. We don't play and making their pathing in as they were playing around that core area, and there are two other teams playing position. The leapfrog, let's jump in and try to get what we can strategy. If we don't play, not finding the success yet, is so many teams just leaning into very defended strategies.
So our third place team, TXC, was eliminated by We Don't Play, who's currently standing in 11th place. We Don't Play do need a lot of kills to be able to catch up on these leaderboards, and they seem to have found their groove together. They're working well together, especially taking down one of our top 3 teams. Perry, on the other hand, on the other side of this map, doing a great job. Nice ultimate and arc start to connect on top of that, so Susan is going to go down, and this is going to be a 2 versus 3. He manages to catch him in the bush. The Mirage main, King RWK03, is going to go down, and there are the thirsts of the day. PMN taking this one slowly, but they're hitting everything so perfectly.
We Don't Play is still trying to keep control, and that's going to be Moonstars on the other side of this one still. 2 other teams past that, so 4 teams now hanging out around core. And now We Don't Play, definitely finding more of the control, more of the aggression that we know that they can try to bring out of this one. But the circle is going to pop down into the southeast. Nobody expecting this. Really, look at all of our teams. The way that they're stacked up. There's only 2 teams inside the new circle. And with all these teams now stacked over here, that means the fact that We Don't Play finds themselves as the outlier. And Moonstar is going to jump over that and move into a gatekeeping line.
I can't believe there are still 15 squads left with only 2 to 3 teams in that final circle. It's like everyone's just so comfortable and everybody just wants a part of the fight. We've got a lot of teams near core, a lot of fighting near core. We Don't Play actually found Rom going down here. Ultimate's going to come in handy to get this revive. Can we open the door up, please, for Mr. Namka? As he gets in, he's going to pop that revive. Are they going to close the gap? It doesn't look like anyone's pushing We Don't Play, so they're going to survive for now. PMN, they just ended up getting those 2 kills we saw earlier, taking it slow for now. They don't want to die early. Noise getting hit in the air. It's a good rotation coming in from them.
They jump in, and they've got to be careful because Nero is going to be right next to this. They're jumping in pretty blind, and I don't know if Nero and his team, Roki, the way that they're moving into this, I don't think that they heard what was going on. Dominus still just trying to take some shots in. Does manage to get down Noise as this is going to be a multi-point chase coming into this one as Fonzie and the rest of his team just wanting to get away. We Don't Play now making a jump of their own. They're going to separate away, and it looks like they're going to path down due south. They're going to avoid the same position that Moonstars is trying to defend up on. So this is going to be pretty clean as there is going to be another 2-team firefight that's going to be happening just to the south of them where they can jump in and third party to their heart's content.
So PMN are down to 2. Will they see a banner recovery? Maybe, since Nero and Throw Kiara on top of Terraformer. Humanity Sports shooting down at them, which might actually prevent them from holding those banners, right? They don't know anything about the banner. They don't really care about the banner recovery as their eyes are on Viper Squadron fully. They do the damage, and now they're going to push down. So PMN might get that banner retrieval and might get a full reset. We will have to see. Throwkey is actually looking at that duo as I say it. They actually might get banner. Oh, take a look at that. So they used Respawn Beacon, and that's kind of what gave away their cover. Did they use it too early? Ooh, it kind of looks like it.
We got a lot of small, awkward situations that are starting to develop. As you can see, CEP playing over here, and it is going to be We Don't Play on the opposite side. That's going to be coming after them. CESM, that's going to be on the opposite team. That could be coming in back behind We Don't Play. To the north, though, we have 4 teams all coming out of Alpha Base, moving into Moonstar's pathing. So multiple teams. While we have 15 squads left, that's about to drop dramatically as there is no way. With the way that this circle's lined up and the way that the pathing for it works, these guys are just going to have to fight tooth and nail to make it into the circle.
Very similar to the circle we had last game. CEP Not in a good position whatsoever. Mr. Profin taking him down with the R301. Is his team going to be able to get away? Bestie, on the other hand, taking down Slander. AXFF with a nice PK shot dropping down. That was beautiful from Dave. They're going to have to recover quick as they are potentially getting third-partied. Actually, it looks like that they're okay for now.
Yeah, Dratini doesn't look like they're going to be moving in. Moonstars were playing aggressive into this position, and it looks like they were wanting to get involved in it. But that's going to open up Kopernik Pizza to come up right back behind Moonstars. Everybody now moving into this, I guess, canyon where everybody is going to be wanting to play from. AXFF, while they did get control of this, they're going to be walking into a 5-team firefight. If you count the last member up for FMA, which is going to be Anubis. This is just going to be very, very difficult to survive through. This is going to be grinder for all of these teams.
Why are there 4 teams on the north end? Everybody likes to play edge zone. We see that happen often, but the north end isn't going to get anyone anywhere in terms of placement points, as they're going to have to make their way south eventually. If you have Valkyrie, you can definitely plan that north end of the mountain and fly over later. But if you don't have Valkyrie, this is just a death trap to stay into.
Looks like the firefight starting to break out between Kopernik Pizza, so the shots are going to come out, and that means that Domino, Moonstar is going to have to make their way into this one, so AXFF, here's this firefight, and now we're going to be able to move in aggressively into it. Everybody's going to be stopping in as Moonstars do get eliminated. Shots going to be coming out. Chikini also getting aware of what's going to be happening inside. This is all teams now vying for position. With the way that the circles pop, I think that AXFF doesn't really want to path this way, realizing it's way hotter than they were wanting it to be. And they might have a different option to approach from, as Drakini does manage to make a jump away from what's going to be going on with Kopernik Pizza. The column is going to settle up here just a little, as, again, everybody's playing edge except for Grimoire, who is the last one up for his squad and managed to make it into the center of the next circle.
Oh, yeah, Grimoire is still alive. Grimoire is pretty lucky, eh? Because almost everybody's playing a Seer or a Scan Legend, and Grimoire sitting pretty inside the center of zone. But like I said, XFF, they can hold this building because they have Valkyrie, they have Skyward Dive. They can fly over the mountain later, and they're just going to defend and hold their spot because they don't feel the need to go back into all that action all the way around the mountain. This is definitely the better position, the safer position as well. And as teams drop, there's only 10 squads remaining. They're surely able to find a safe landing spot later on as the zone closes and everyone else collides together.
This is the opposite side of what we were just watching at. Kopernik Pizza trying to take some shots in. They still have Dratini and the rest of his team in front of them. So, see, everybody is trying to figure out how they're going to approach. I wouldn't be surprised with the amount of teams that we see just playing opposite sides of these canyon walls. We're going to see a lot of people flying in blind to a very crazy firefight. Everybody is now starting to prep their jumps in, and oddly enough, jumping early here is quite beneficial, as if you can get over these walls, there's not a lot of people that are playing inside the center yet. So if you jump in, look, no shots, no harassment, you're going to be able to find free real estate in a free compound and avoid all of that mess.
Yeah, wonderfully played by them. Kopernik Pizza, they're going to take the spot that I think it was it VTXGR that took last game? They took the same position, the high ground, the building, and they saw another team have success with it, so why not take it again? But it looks like the zone or the circle is going to be slightly different than our last one, and we're about to find out here in a few seconds. Let's see where the zone pulls. This is going to be interesting and crucial for most of these teams. So it's a little bit more south.
Yeah, if you remember, we saw all those teams try to converge in that one point that had like the building that has like an under session. You can't really call it a basement because it's just kind of a below the building. I don't even know how you refer to that. The first story of a non-storied house, I guess these. That's where everybody is going to be pushing into. Is it looks like we are going to see the Akim's spot out somebody, and that somebody is going to be a solo. And that's going to lead them into an entire other squad. So while this is going to be going on, everybody is going to be converging into it. But guess what? We Don't Play is going to be also playing along this position, as we now have 3 teams all flying for this exact same spot. And that's going to open up pathing for Grimoire to try to find somewhere else to go to, as his area was getting pushed.
I I love his tracking there. He's predicting where the enemy Bangalore is going to head, and he's doing a little bit of pre-firing there so he can connect those shots. They might actually be able to get this revive. They're making sure to apply that pressure. They do get the revive. Hakeem's going to be back into a full 3. And they do have a great position because that team in front of them has to pull their way, and they might be able to get these kills as they make that rotate. On the other hand, Coppernick Pizza taking a great position, as we were talking about earlier. They're going to get themselves 2 kills and potentially a team wipe here. 2 Minute Esports is out in the top 10. They're going to be eliminated by Coppernick Pizza with the RE45, one of our strongest weapons in the game right now. They are definitely a team not to be reckoned with.
So,
wow.
How are we going to see Pathan come out? We Don't Play has a teams that are just hard gatekeeping this position, as almost all of our teams are playing the south of the circle. We Don't Play trying to line up, get some shots into it. They are going to jump in. Namka's already down, though. It looks like the fact that they want to come in from a new angle, try to surprise, take some shots in, and that surprise might be good enough, as really with still 2 members up, they're not taking a lot of damage off of this. They're just kind of walking in, and Akeem's just keeps having to retreat and retreat yet again, but now We Don't Play has got to be careful. Their west is going to be opened up. They're going to have new teams. They're going to have firing lines into them, and this is just a clinical push coming out from We Don't Play as Profin finally taking enough damage. He has got to stop. Ring's going to be on top of him, but that Western team causing a big problem for them now as they are getting focused too many different ways. The sandwich is too strong.
The 1 versus 1, and Rom Plays takes the games out. That was an incredible play by him and his squad, Mr. Profin. Like you said, he got shot from that West team. Noise ended up doing a lot of damage, but Rom full committed there and Profin full committed there so that they could at least have an extra placement point and those kill points. It was well done by them. They didn't see themselves getting into any other position, any safe spot. So they said, hey, Hakeem, do you want to gatekeep us? We'll take you down with us. Graham Moore taking down Dratini in the kill feed as well. So Red Fade is fully eliminated. And 1 done Aqua. Graham Moore was the solo. So Graham Moore getting another placement point and another kill point. That's great from 1 done Aqua. We Don't Play a solo too.
Yeah, they ran into this.
No.
They charged into this point, and so he hasn't had a chance to get any meds up. He's going to run back right into a full squad.
Oh.
He spots it out. This is doom. What can you do? There's a couple like walls. Try to be sneaky, find somewhere to hide into, but you can see like I guess this is as good a spot as any, and hey, if it works, right?
I don't think it'll work for long unless XFF don't have anything to scan him with. Rom Plays is going to get healed up and is inside the circle as well, so...
All the other teams have moved to the north. With the firefight going off, they've all moved in, and Rom is actually one of the most southern players now in this circle, and that's kind of just crazy. He might be able to get it with Greenmore also. Solo hiding down inside the compound, but it looks like, I believe, AXFF getting some airborne time, going to be jumping in, and all of our teams now stop right up on top of this compound as Coppernick Pizza is moving into where Rom is at and might spot him.
Yeah, and he's playing Seer, right? So he's going to have eventually figure it out here in it shortly. Yep, the scan is going to go through. He's pulling out his Q. He might hit the scan, or he's going to let his teammates know. Might be closer than normal. He actually misses that scan.
Yeah. Rom moved really far into the north. Everybody's playing around the building now.
Playing. Yeah, so there's so many layers, right? There's the inside, there's underneath, and then there's up top. So it's actually a great way to maybe avoid some Sears, but Rom is getting pushed, and Rom might just get 5th place if it comes down to 5 seconds from now.
I mean, what do you do, man? There's just nothing to be had. Like, every single section of that building is where they had a person on it. You can see
I wanted to stay hopeful. But it really...
Hey, you can be hopeful for Greenmore if you want some solo love. He's still alive inside that compound somehow.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Well,
top
while
4.
all this has been going on. I mean, Coppernick Pizza jumped into the compound that he was holding down solo. And he's still in there with 2 other teams there, so I don't know where his hiding hole is.
It's got to be at the bottom. He's got to be... Yeah.
PM
Great
in.
shots.
Yeah, they're trying to hold in. They're one of the teams that's playing that mid-ground section. Coppernick Pizza being on the outside of this is kind of beneficiary, as PMN has to deal with what's going to be going on, as it's going to be AXFF right on top of them. So PMN, who's taking a lot of damage, having to move away, as Coppernick Pizza is just getting more and more control over the circle itself. The loot and picking up loot real quick off of bodies is going to have to be massive, and there's the sneaky spot Griamore's hiding at. He's on the outside. Does PMN even have an idea? They're going to be walking right by him. No shots.
PMN has been playing very patiently throughout. They got the recovery at Terraformer as well. They did not get killed there. And one Dun Aqua was eliminated. Now, they were in first place before coming into this match, so they're still going to be holding up their chins quite high after this game as well. It was a great job. One solo. I think his team died quite early as well, so he did a very great job for his team. Now we're going to see the rest unfold. That's Snorlax and Justice. Oh, that's a full trio.
We are looking at full three-man squads on every single section. This one, AXFF, though, they're having to fight right in the zone, right along the wall, and Coppernick Pizza is just waiting. They're outside playing, like, just... They're just shooting like pigeons as they're coming through, you know, like the clay pigeons as they come out. Coppernick Pizza, though, has got to be careful as they're trying to reset up into this one, taking some shots in. They are going to pick it up, and that's going to be Coppernick Pizza going down. AXFF somehow surviving. They're shooting fish in a barrel down the side of it. I thought it was clay pigeons, but no, they're looking down. Festi now looking into this, taking the shots, trying to juke through. Shots are going to connect, and AXFF manages to survive an absolutely brutal firefight.
They are winning their end zones really well. Now, they are definitely a team to be scared of to fight in that end zone. But Dave, Eros, and Festi, they take home another win today. They're looking quite scary, and actually, if I was one Dun Aqua, I'd be a little bit worried right now. Back-to-back wins like that, it's looking pretty tight on the leaderboards, I'm sure.
I am astounded. I thought that Coppernick Pizza had the control angle to play from. I don't know what happened to them to cause them to take so much damage there, but AXFF, man, that was a team on top of them, moving out. They timed it well, and they just figured out the right way to approach that, and that is going to be big for them today. Finding 2 repeat successes in a game where everybody else has been having to just, I guess, fight for mid-positioning.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody were putting a lot of pressure on them on that low ground just because one of them got knocked. So overextending there did cause their team to get pushed by everybody, and unfortunately that was it for them. PMN, this was where they got 2 knocks in the very beginning, so I was very surprised to see them play patiently, play end zone, and last for so long. They did a great job. AXFF, oh, that nice PK shot that we got to see earlier. So they had to fight their way here into the end zone for sure. Coppernick Pizza, they took very good angles and a very nice thermite to do a lot of damage here in the mid game, and it was clean. That's what really matters when you get into those fights, especially near the top 10 where you could get third-partied at any moment. The zone is so close, the circle's so small. They did a great job of it.
There were so many different times that, like, solos should have died. I mean, we saw a second ago, Griamore was already down to a solo when we saw the map and the highlight just a second ago. Yeah, see, look, he's hiding there on top of all those teams. Rom on the outside of it doing the same thing. Coppernick Pizza, you can see, this is why I thought that they had it. Look at the angles that they have and the control. But it looks like they lost one of the members that you were talking about, and then suddenly they decided to commit in, and just look at the damage being thrown up on top of them.
I thought that kick ended it for AXFF. I thought, like, you know the missing the kicks that I was talking about, they just don't lock anymore? I'm like, oh no, punching the air, that's gonna look like doom for AXFF, but they ended up winning. And take a look at the stats.
Feeling pretty good off of it all considered. We're gonna be walking away with 9 kills, a very hefty chunk of damage, and not even needing to revive. AXFF playing position, playing edge, and walking through, picking their firefights well. What got them into this in-game position. Now, the question is, how much did these solos and these duos creeping in the very end, trying to find out those 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place positions affect the overall leaderboard and the capabilities for AXFF's climb, as it has been a lot of AXFF so far today.
Well, we are about to find out. Very good accuracy by Dave as well, 23% compared to Eros and Festi. They all did a great job. One Done Aqua, if you are just tuning in, they won our first game, and AXFF have just won our third game and our previous game, our second game. So they are on a hot streak.
Ooh, AXFF just 3 points ahead of One Done Aqua. Griamore making a salvage play for his team. Coppernick Pizza having a big come up, though, with making a jump into the position. We don't play. Going to be right back behind them, finally finding themselves a good game. And TXC tied up with them at the time. 1 point back behind that Viper Squadron. Okay. I'm about where we're going into these last 2 games.
Wow, this is incredible. We Don't Play have caught up. They went from 11th to 4th, which is incredible. They did a great job there. PMN making their way to the top 10, maintaining that. TXC, they did not have a good game. I believe they died early because they had 25 points going into this game. I don't believe they picked up any point whatsoever. But AXF and One Done Aqua, 3 points in between them. This is coming down to the wire.
And you can see anybody even at the bottom end of the leaderboard right now can have themselves a good game climb up. We just saw it a second ago with We Don't Play making a massive climb, so do not count out anybody just yet. And while, yes, first and second do have a lead over the rest, 2 games remaining, 1 big kill game, and suddenly you're in the thick of it right alongside of them. So we still have a lot of Apex competition moving into this one. Is 2 circles pretty close to the exact same spot, and AXFF winning both of them. I'm hoping, I get the feeling like they're hoping that the circle is going to go that direction again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we did have 2 zones very similar to each other, but I'm sure the rest of the lobby would like a little bit more randomness coming into the last couple games. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Hakim's. I saw them gatekeeping We Don't Play, and I saw them losing their 3v2 earlier. I feel like they always have the better, like a good mindset going in, but they're just lacking like a couple of spices. I feel like the recipe's almost there, and I feel like they're going to become one of our greatest teams in the Master Circuit, but there's just like something missing, and I really, really can't wait until they get that last ingredient to their recipe. But they did a great job. I know they're in the bottom 10, but to be fighting against We Don't Play and to be almost winning that's a success in itself.
Whenever your strategy, that's the whole thing, is like you can slowly start to develop aim over time, right? Is strategy and understanding circle movements and stuff like that. That's one of the things that most teams struggle with. And Hakim's have the first part of, or have the second part of that down. They know where to go and they know where the winning positions are. They know the teams that they need to fight. But oftentimes they just find themselves fighting some of the best teams in the lobby, and it's they haven't quite gotten their team fighting together. And I'm not necessarily saying it's macro or aim or anything else like that. Sometimes it's just coordination inside of a firefight itself.
Yeah, exactly. I was playing the other day, and it's like, maybe we should all take the same door since we all had a lot of damage. And actually, in that fight where they were 3 versus 2, they split up. And sometimes splitting up in a fight and taking too many different angles, you are going to get penalized for it. You're going to get pushed because the team inside, the team that's getting pinched, they have to make that quick, like last second decision. And they're going to figure out, okay, there's a solo here. We push them, we kill the solo, then we're back in a 2v2. And that happens so often that Apex players don't really realize it yet, that splitting up can be so harmful. The only way that you can really split up safely is to not overextend and to have a mobility legend. Because if you're Valkyrie or Pathfinder, then you could maybe flank but stay alive. But sometimes it still doesn't work out. Sometimes you can't escape because the beams on these teams, like the mechanical skills of everyone here in the lobby today, are just so good. So you got to be really careful.
Got to play with horror movie rules. Do not separate. Everybody that's played D&D knows. Do not separate the party. If you are in the middle of a firefight, yes, you can separate to open up new firing angles, but really, the only time you want to be separated out is if you're entrenched and holding a position, not in the thick of a firefight or trying to countermove, because you don't know how the retreat or the position is going up for the other team. So setting up crossfires while retreating is so difficult.
Agreed. And now we're a little bit more than halfway into our tournament. We have 2 games left. and the pressure is on. We Don't Play made certainly a comeback into the season, but is it too late? Are 2 games enough to make a huge comeback? Most of these teams want top 2. All right, they really want top 2 because our first place and our second place, let me remind you, they all get PS5s on top of more cash prizes. So it's definitely something to account for, and it's going to change up the play styles of some of these teams, maybe become more aggressive, maybe play for that end zone and see more teams getting those scans, because first place gets 12 points. Like, think about it. That is more than enough to get you caught up into that top 5 if you get a few kills on top of that and you stay consistent. But consistency is the key in any Apex Legends tournaments. You want points in every single game.
Looking through this, you're talking about We Don't Play. This has got to be their game. Like, with the point difference, there's 20 points. They have put up the most points in a game that I believe that I have ever seen. But they cannot rely on the last game to do so. They need to get up with the other 2 if they're going to try to do it. Any of these teams that are trying to break into the top 2, this is their game. They don't need to be. You don't want to say, okay, well, I can get into like first place or second place in the last game with 20-point differential. Let's just kill the whole lobby. That's not the way that that's going to function. So, time to, I guess, bring out whatever you've got. And as I say that, I'm looking over at Eternal Gardens, and it looks like it might be some attention being dropped right up on top of We Don't Play.
Okay, it looks like a team wants to put it in their hand, so we might see a 50-50 off draw. We Don't Play, though, they actually might just give that up. They're giving up Eternal Gardens, then they're going up to backup ammo. This is the first game, I think, that we've seen nobody go backup ammo. So it's actually, they're quite in luck for that. Coppernick Pizza, another team that's in our top 5. They're actually going to go down right away. Can we see a trade coming in from Coppernick Pizza with the L-Star? He's going to be playing this slowly. This is not what you want to see.
Hakeem's always.
It's Hakeem's? Oh my goodness. Why am I not surprised? This is incredibly crazy right now. Hakeem's changing the tides in our master circuit once again. Oh, but take a look at this. He's alone right now. Is it a 1v1?
I believe it is down to a 1v1 right now. And Wingman Prowler combination looks like we might be seeing a reset coming in quite quickly. This is way down away from everything. Wingman trying to connect, pumping out some damage, and Coppernick Pizza goes down with some pops.
It was down to that last bullet. If he missed, he was dead. If he hit it, he won the entire fight. That was crazy. It's Coppernick Pizza in 3rd place right now, and Hakeem's take them down. Hakeem's is that like one team that nobody wants to start beef with, because they will land on literally anybody in this lobby, and I wonder why it was Coppernick Pizza this time instead of One and Dome or AXFF. But hey, Coppernick Pizza. No more pizza deliveries today.
Like whenever you have to do like algebra homework and stuff like that, and there's like the easy questions that like x plus y equals blah 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 blah, right? And then there's that like, I guess, full page word problem that you have to go through to try to figure out what the x is inside of it. That is Hakeem's. They're not the easy X factor to figure out. They're just kind of like, you got to put in some work to try to figure out what's going on with the Hakeem's at any given time.
They have the biggest audacity I've ever seen in the Master Circuit in any region. I just feel like they are the one team that isn't scared of anyone, no matter how they're doing through the entire day.
Yep.
Like, I wish I had a little bit of that in me. They have the spice that spices up any tournament whatsoever, and it's great to see that energy coming from them.
Looking through, we were talking about We Don't Play going to backup Atmo. Looks like they're getting their situation together pretty well. Most of our teams actually moving into more of a 3/4 hold position. Not a lot of edge, really, teams holding up where we're looking at this. So while we have been seeing a much more violent, I guess, Circle 2, Circle 1 has been more calm today. As, again, I think that that's kind of the nature of the beast. We Don't Play has always been our circle one. We're just going to roam around the edge of the circle and just kill everybody team. And with them not being able to find success off of loot due to 50-50s and getting hot dropped, it's kind of opened up everything for everyone else.
And that was... It was a good play by them to go to backup Atmo and not take that 50-50 because, like you said, you don't want to leave it up to that last game. And they're not going to leave it up to that last game. Fairly enough, this tournament series, everyone's dying a lot slower than in the qualifiers or our wild cards. So they have time to make it into zone. They have time to loot. They have time to play patiently. Normally, we don't play as the team killing everyone, so nobody feels like they have time to get kills or to get into fights or to play end zone. But this tournament's playing out completely different, and they're just going to have to adjust. And they have been adjusting. They went from bottom 10, should I say, to our top 10. And they're making their way in slowly. But so many teams are in core right now. Everyone's thinking that it's either going to end core or maybe west of them is where everyone's preparing to hold their spot. CEP doesn't have the best loot. They're still picking up scraps right now. Double white is not what you want to be on when you're halfway into a game. Round one closing. Yeah.
Especially being the center point. Like, you are the core of the circle, and you have, like, near, like, no defensive capabilities yet versus everybody that's going to be coming in. Good spray coming out from PMN, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to make some more out of that one. So we are seeing this fight right along the bottom part of what's going to be the next circle.
It's a nice bombardment, actually, coming in from the opposing team, PMN. Don't believe he hit his seer scan on Perry, so... There was a recovery coming down from the low ground team. Having a Gibby does help with the resetting, and Noise taking an incredible amount of damage, so they have to be careful here. Even though they're on the high ground, they're losing their fight, essentially, and they're not going to be able to create much of a disadvantage to the other team to be able to push off that. So they're going to play it slowly but surely. PMN. They're the only team right now in their compound, so they'll be safe for now. Like I said, people are dying very slowly. 16 squads still remaining. Oh, 15.
Yeah, it's with Perry taking those shots, they did manage to force the team, I believe it was Slander and his team, into another team, and now having to make their way even further north. So with the information that we can now see that PMN does have, they know the fact that this is going to be leaning more into that core direction. So the team that they managed to take shots at did end up having to go to the west, and I don't think is in the next circle. So sometimes it's not necessarily about always getting the KP. It's nice to get the kill points, right? But if you can also just get control and a path into the circle, man, that's setting up for an in-game victory.
Let's take a look at where this zone heads. This is my favorite part about Apex, almost. Okay, I didn't want to say it, but I told you so. I mean, no, I didn't really tell you so, but I thought it so. I thought it was pulling more towards Breaker Wharf, and it looks like it is. Might pull all the way to the west of that mountain. Oh, nice shots by Perry here with the R301. He has to push off that. No, his teammate did get hit up as well, so they're playing it safe. They're going back to the high ground. They're making sure they're not getting pushed or pinched. You can feel the pressure that they've got, even though they do so much damage. Nothing's going to come out of it.
I want to point out, while we have the map up, you can look to the far northeast. That is going to be where we see AXFF. They are playing a more, I guess, conservative strategy, and we talk about sometimes this can come back and bite you, because with the way that they're going to have to cross, pretty decent amount coming into this. Most of the teams are already going to be fortified in, so it's going to be very hard for them to have themselves the amount of information that they're going to want to have. Also, the teams to the south, you can see that the way that they're pathing in, they're going to have to be coming in around that western area of the core, around Akonsky and where they're sitting up at. So I have to see how these firefights to the south are going to break out, because this is going to be very, very brutal to work through.
There's not much real estate in these zones once the zone closes. There's so much open space. Yeah, so it is going to be hard to fight. So eliminating teams on the edge could be the smart idea. So that way you have less teams challenging you later on, for sure. PMN, they're still playing edge. They only want to play edge. It doesn't seem like they want to do anything else. Viper Squadron's going to be there. Actually, about 4 teams there on the south side near Dry Gulch. So they're going to have to be careful of that. Going further north will just hit them into another team. But they are just going to hold this roof for now. I think that is their gameplay. Hold this building, see where a zone pulls, and move from there. I think they want to play this one slowly.
I mean, that's I would say the go-to strategy. I'm just be concerned with the amount of teams that could be converging in there. Dry Gulch, though, looks like the southern compound is going to be getting more of the attention. So PMN with their high ground can hopefully defend it up, as it looks like 3 teams will be converging over there. While this has been going on, we've had a couple of small rotations that have been coming out. We have seen Festi Ero's Last Dave now playing into the west of everything that's going to be happening. So life is pretty good for them over there. And yep, here comes the firefights down into the south, as we're going to have 3 different firefights all within, what, a rock separating them?
Spotted over there.
It's not looking good as the zone closes, but this zone doesn't hurt too much, actually. So you could play zone. You could tank the zone a little bit if needed, just to make a safer rotation. But Viper Squadron is coming in. Oh, they're flying in. That was quite smart of them. But where are they going to land? Are they going to find a safe spot to land, or are they going to land on another team? Because we do know there's a team there on the building downwards, and it looks like they're going even further. I believe they want to make it all the way to Breaker Wharf, and they're risking it.
And so they landed right next to the Hakims. That might not go too well. We'll have to see how that's going to play out in the kill feed, as PMN is watching what's going to be going on, and start to hear the firefights. Yeah, that's the firefight that's going to be to the other side of the rock, what we're looking at.
Opponent over there.
Okay, so there's a 3-way fight on the south east of that mountain, and that's where Rom ended up going down. We don't play got pinched by 2 teams, unfortunately, as the zone closes in. HKE is going to make his way. Oh, they're going to make their way in with the Skyward Dive, while we don't play is down to a 2v3 scenario, potentially. Not 100% sure what it is looking like, but Mr. Namka, it's down to 1 versus 3. It's no, 1 versus 1 or 1 versus 2. They did get 1 knock before he went down. Rom doing some good work. He has 2 medkits. He can play this slow, but he's scanned. He wants to play this safe, and he's going to run away and pop that medkit.
There's just so many teams that are around here right now. There's going to be the team that's going to be due to his west, but now while he's going to be coming up here, I think it's a One Done Aqua that he's going to be seeing in just a second, moving in front of him. Yep. Well, actually, nope, that's an entirely other team that's going to be jumping in front of him, as One Done Aqua is going to be moving much slower on foot. So Mr. Namka is going to be feeling that nice tingly sensation of being outside safe ring.
Mr. Namka looks like he wants to get that banner recovery, so he's going all the way around in the zone, and that's something actually I would do as well. But they're fighting against VXTG Ara, and it doesn't look like they want to let him get that banner. They're actually sitting in the storm banner camping. We Don't Play is most likely not getting that banner recovery at all, and Mr. Namka is running from all 3 of them right now into the core. Can he survive this? As a Bangalore, I think so.
Movement coming in. This is going to be our fight that's going to be going on way over to the north, and could have some massive repercussions, as a lot of these teams are going to be lined up into this position. See that I believe 4 different teams are going to be pathing along these lines, and there's already 3 that are going to be fortified over here, as everybody playing along Wharf is going to have to be very, very cautious. This is so vertical that it's going to allow so many teams to try to move into this.
Rose's got a knock against Sarah's in the kill feed. They were playing complete edge, and they fought their way in and killed Red Fade to get themselves a spot, but they might have to fight TXC here soon. Viper Squadron still maintaining to keep one of the best positions in zone. And take a look at this. One down Aqua, TXC in a 3 versus 3 scenario here. Rose getting cracked up here. Rose actually going to go down. This is not looking good. Raymond getting cracked, but he's going to go up in the air. Shagoom gets cracked, but one done. Aqua was eliminated, and all of TXC is still alive and healthy. Wow, what a fight from TXC, taking down our second place team.
Yeah, Mr. Namka, you can't get involved in that one, and so he's going to move down into the south. So TXC's also making a similar move. We're going to have Azrael and the rest of his team line up over here as well. So Shot's going to start connecting on to it. Now we also have Matty Fancy that's making a rotation over here. So 2 solos overwatching this 3v3.
Oh, wow. Matty Fancy and Mr. Namka. Mr. Namka is not looking so good. Getting cracked right off the bat. I don't think he'll be able to survive TXC's dominance. They're just not going to let that happen. They're going to jump right down on him. Even if there's another team nearby. Namka going down. We Don't Play is eliminated. 2 Minute Esports is eliminated. We've got 9 squads remaining. None of these teams on this side of the mountain are in zone. They got a minute and 35 seconds to figure it out, figure out their game plan, figure out what they want to do. TXC, they do not have Skyward Dive. They aren't going to be able to fly into the zone, but they might be able to gatekeep here and get a few more kill points before they get into that zone. We got Hakeem's in the one of the best spots are on the opposite side of that mountain, but this is a very tough zone to be playing.
Yeah, especially if you're on that eastern side, because you have got to go through a choke point. You can go around the outside of the ring, but there are so many teams that are stacked up over there. You can see 2 now presently just trying to fight it out and skirmish some way. Worf has, I don't even know, like what is that, like 3-4 different colors that are all stacked up on top of each other over there. So that's where a good chunk of our teams are going to be at. As TXC still cannot figure out how they're going to want to do this one. Just a couple of shots going to connect, but they feel like they might have the advantage to play this one more aggressive. But you can see that they step in and go, okay, well, this is not working. This is taking too much time, and this is the chaos of Worf right now.
Wow, okay, so there's so many different layers right nearby, and Pally's gonna give up high ground for this. He's gonna try and get this kill. White armor underneath him. He needs to pull out his secondary. He's missing with the double tap G7 scout. Gonna reload, and he's actually gonna jump all the way down, and that's very scary because didn't he know that there was someone right behind him? Well, he's gonna go down. They do not have a horizon to get him back up. That might have been a misplay, but Viper Squadron down to 1. Twiggy is the last one remaining. Thirsting.
Well, while this is all happening, guess what? Remember all those teams that were playing to the west? All the teams that were playing to the east are now pushing into the west right on top of Hakeem. So while we've got 8 squads, there's about to probably be 2 left here in just 1 second. TXC now making that push in that we were talking about just a moment ago. The teams are going to have to move in. It got too heavy for them, so they're now moving into the circle itself, trying to move away from it. See if the fact that they can give some breathing room, but they're going to have to step down into the south, as it is just going to be a target-rich environment for whomever has vision in the high ground. And TXC, you can see that there's just movement everywhere through the circle.
I like what VXTG did. They rotated ahead of TXC, but they do have the low ground, and I don't know if they're going to be able to hold it. They have those head glitches. Sear's doing a great job. Almost took down Raymond, but it was not enough. Sarah pulling down her shield, creating that cover that her team needed at the time. Hakeem's is fully eliminated. Vertex Rinks goes down, and here comes the push. Sarah Sutcliffe going down with her Volt SMG. She's not going to fully give up her height just yet. She's going slowly because there are so many teams still left remaining. They could get wrapped around. This is quite the dangerous push.
Well, but at the same time, like, yeah, teams can wrap around them from the south, but they're starting to get, like, their own little contained area. Everybody else kind of has vision on each other. And since they did a good job on hurting everybody to the west from this, now as long as they kind of watch the 2 different angles, they get to keep control over this. But it looks like they're going to choose to wrap in back behind, find a new set of friends to take shots at, as they have got to be careful. I'm still astounded that there's 15 people alive in the circle, as it's just like a couple of rocks in the warp.
Yeah, Festy is alive in the center of that circle, but I don't know what he's using for cover there. We've got a duo flying in and potentially going to challenge Festi. Festi takes down one. Can he take down two? He needs to take down Slander. Slander might be dying to another team. Festi takes down two, gets 2 kill points. Koopy's eliminated. AXFF Festi. He needs that armor swap. He's not quite getting it. It's taken him quite a bit of time. But that is the advantage of playing Valk. He can just fly right up and try and find a safe spot. He's doing so incredibly well for his team, but he's getting angled out. The med kit gets popped off. He got 1 armor swap left remaining down there. Is he gonna go for both? I am not sure. Isn't that the same armor swap? He's gonna heal up. Oh, it looks like he's getting pushed. He's gonna have to run. There's so many teams around him. Where does he run to? We don't know. He doesn't know, but he's doing so good.
I mean, given the fact that there's 11 people that can see just about everything he's doing in every direction he looks, there's a firefight going on. He's doing a great job on surviving through the thick of it. Now a new target's going to be coming in. I believe it's going to be TXC that has spotted him out, and that's going to be not a lot of space to go. I mean, like, at this stage, it looks like maybe do some type of verticality is about all you're going to have, as he just wants to get whatever help is going to be happening. There's a firefight that's going on right underneath of him. His teams are just dropping. CEP is going to be going out, and that's going to be TXC now starting to make their move in. He's weathered the storm. Everybody else is playing lower. They're getting involved in the firefight. He can survive through this one as he's now starting to make a line break from them. He hears what's going to be happening. He's just throwing out utility. Viper Squadron's going to get eliminated. It's now down to just 3.
He doesn't want to get involved too early. It looks like they're going to queue up on him. He's going to go down in 3rd place. TXC still alive. It looks like they're going to jump down. How many do they have left to kill? Raymond in that 1 versus 2 scenario. He's getting pushed. They're going to take down another. Gibraltar, last one remaining. TXC is our champions of game number 4. They were 22 points behind 1st place going into this game. This game surely is going to help them catch up in the leaderboards.
A massive game. And then we talked about, okay, you need to have your superstars. You need to have your capabilities step up whenever you are in the finals. Whenever everything's on the line, you need to make sure that you can play under that pressure. And TXC did. They handled that so well. Their macro was very clean, the way that they handled their micro and making their firefights. They knew how they wanted to advance and how they wanted to get it. The question is, how many kills did they get, and is it a big enough game for them?
I think it's a great game for them. I think it's good enough. It might not put them in 1st place. Maybe not, maybe it will, but it definitely puts them up near 1st place, which is going to give them a sigh of relief going into that last game. It's going to definitely make them sit up in their chairs and be prepared for that last game, because that was an incredible game to come off. I don't think they want that 5-minute break just yet.
Yeah, I think it was after the last qualifier. I jumped into chat and was talking to some of the people that were participating, and Sarah was one of them, and she was kind of down on her own gameplay that day. I don't think that there's going to be any need to kind of down yourself after this one. They're finding exactly what they need to do time and time again. You talked about yourself. This is just a clean fight. Like, they're coming out not like, sure, sometimes some of their shields are getting knocked, but they're still sitting on full health almost every single one of their fights.
Yeah, you want clean fights because Broken Moon, there's always a team nearby, and as soon as one of you go down, the other team will know and prioritize off that. But if none of you go down, right, the other teams won't even look at you twice. But Fasti, you don't expect anything less from AXFF. They were our first place team going into this game, and he did such a great job of showing why they deserve to be in this tournament. They did a great job, and TXC, they're catching up, and I ought to be scared if I were anyone else inside this lobby. 1 and Don't Aqua, I wonder how they're doing after all of this settles, right? I don't believe they popped off that much in our last game. And Coppernick Pizza as well. They died off drop to Hakeem, so they're definitely going to be worried in their seats.
Question is also, AXFF, we saw Festi making the jump around, even picking up kills. Well, this is a big game for TXC. How much did we manage to see them get picked up on the other side? Did AXFF manage to pick up enough to keep some type of distance away, as it has been a very back and forth day for a lot of these teams. So it looks like AXFF might be finding some stability, TXC as well. And now we're going to be moving in, looking into what's going to be happening in our last game, as we have seen a string of victories. 2 for AXFF, 1 done Aqua, and TXC.
Raymond doing the most damage for his squad on the horizon, which is very typical, as one of the main fraggers. AXFF team still in first place. Big thank you to Festy for pulling off the amazing jukes at the end of the last game. TXC taking home second so far, but the tournament's not over. We still got one more game, and they at least want to maintain second, if not first place. And this is our bottom 10. I don't know why Hakeem's is in there. They deserve MVP for stirring the pot in this tournament.
That's definitely the Hakeem's play style and what they want to do all of the time. So moving into this, as you said, we've got one game left. So you make sure that if you want to get involved in the competition during the break that we're about to take, make sure you go over to compete.playstation.com. See what all is being played over there. See if whatever games you want to get involved in, from Apex to whatever your fancy could be, as there is a little bit of everything that's being played over there. But as I said, we've got one game left in this season. And who's going to be walking away? Two teams get PlayStations. We got some money on the line. We now have a 4-point differential in between second and third place, and we've got a horse race to go on for who's going to walk away in first. Give us just a few minutes to get everything set, as the action is going to be wild. See you then.
PlayStation.
competition coming down to one last game match. I'm joined by a girl. We're going to be walking you through all of the action, and it is getting closer by the second. I love the fact that we've got 3 teams fighting it out for that first place position.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's been a great showing from all of these teams combined. Few comebacks from a lot of the teams as well, and just so much action. First things first, who is Hakeem's going to drop on in the first game? I don't know, but hey, take a look at our winners for the day. We got one Dun Aqua for game 1, XFF 2 games in a row, and TXC taking game number 4, but not only taking game number 4, putting themselves up in second place.
That is going to be big, because moving into this last game, only 6 points separate out. AXFF doing a great job, Festi specifically in that last game, buying every single point he could for his teams. One Dun Aqua, while they had themselves a great first game, they've still managed to find successes moving in. It hasn't been the flashiest of successes, but you can see that they're keeping up in kills and everything else that they need to try to make this as competitive as possible moving into this last game. And remember, we have a step up in cash moving in from our qualifiers for these players, and the top 2 teams, every player is going to be walking away with a PlayStation 5.
Exactly, and we have 3 teams vying for that, so it's going to really come down to the wire, and we got to keep our eyes specifically on those teams going forward. But it is going to be Broken Moon. It is going to be the same type of game they've been playing in our last 4, so let's see who can stay alive the longest and who can pick up the most kills.
Yeah, this is wild, and we've seen a couple of repeat circles, but honestly, we haven't seen a southern shifted circle yet today, have we?
No. Well, I don't think so.
That's kind of crazy.
Most of them have been northwest, northeast. But yeah, no, it's actually quite surprising. So you might be calling it right now. You did do that in the last time we casted. You just miraculously spawned an end zone or spawn a win for these teams. You're like a magician. So it could happen here in our next game, and we'll see how most teams adapt.
Just saying, if anybody that gets the team that's first plays and has a PlayStation 5 already, you can feel free to message me on circle locations. And, we can work out some type of deal. Jokes aside, though, circles are going to be a little wild moving into this one, as it's the last game, so that means it's wheels off. Every single point's going to matter, so teams like Hakeem's means the fact that they're going to be out for blood.
But you guys can support him on social media, match him, I believe, on Twitter, you know, a little bit of support here and there. If you like the guy, he's a great caster. I love casting with you. It's always a good time, and I just can't wait for this game number 5 in our finals here in our EU region. Any composition changes? We didn't talk too much about composition, but we've seen a lot of Horizon, a lot of Valkyrie, Seer, Bangalore, the odd Newcastle, the odd Pathfinder. Pretty standard here. I don't think anyone's changing up the comps this time around.
But while this is going, it does look like we had a small problem with the lobby, so we're going to go ahead and restart it now. Hey, better than jumping into a firefight, start getting excited about it, and then having to step back away. So we want to go ahead and get everybody back into the lobby as fast as possible. So while we were moving the hype in for the last game, it do be like this sometimes, and we got to take a second, step back away, and I do like what you were talking about, though. Nobody is going to be bringing any curveballs into this, it feels like. Just play what you know best.
Yeah, normally we do see some teams switch it up, but because it's the finals, because there's so much on the line, and they're they've adapted to each other on the compositions that they've been playing, and they're taking this really seriously. There's a lot of prizes to be had, a lot of cash on the line. Besides those PS5s, I know there's 3 teams vying for first and second, but there's still that, top 10 that they could be going for.
And oddly enough, sometimes when we move into this last game, it's the people that are needing the points when it feels like the most. The ones that are just going to be wiling out and just roaming. They're like, we just need 3 KP, and then suddenly we're going to be in 5th place kind of situation, that suddenly they get control over the game because they're the ones that are playing most aggressive.
Yeah, that's true. It can go one of 2 ways. People are going to be dying off very early because people want to catch up, or the lobby is going to be slow and steady, which is what I'm assuming it to be. Okay, let's take a look at these stats. Overall elimination and damage leaders. What can you tell me from this?
Festy put out a lot of damage while he was solo by himself. No, jokes aside, he's been doing a great job. But TXC running 3 of their members that are going to be inside of our top 10. And while we do have one down to Aqua having a couple inside there, that just showcases the fact that they've been very, very aggressive.
Yeah, they have been. They did have a great start to the tournament itself. AXFF, how many do they have in here? Just one?
Just one.
Just one. Wow, Festy. Okay, incredible. Can we get a round of applause in the chat for Festy? Incredible. And Shigum and Raymond both outputting over 4,300 damage. Shigum with 1 more kill, but less damage than Raymond. Rose on 1 done Aqua with the 3,700 damage. Briamore as well with the 3K. 10 kills, 10 kills. We don't play, they had a rough start, so it's really nice to see Mr. Profit in here as well.
Even Koopy, who hasn't been having the best success, White Paint Powder finding himself on this board, picking up the kills for it. And, I mean, Dominus, it's kind of funny because we've seen Viper Squadron several times make it into the late game, but a lot of the moving factors, we haven't been able to catch Dominus in, and it feels like a lot of the successes are based off of the positionings that he can play and the aggression that they can bring out. And that feels like, I know that's the reoccurring theme, is passivity can be a problem for you, but whenever you have players that are inside of like you can see pumping out this much damage, you just can start taking authority over a game. Like Festy, look at what he was doing inside the last. He was solo, hiding out, jumping around, finding little cubby holes. You can't even call him a rat there. Like, what do you call somebody that's like clinging to life and flying around? Like, what's the bird version of a rat for Apex?
A hero. Wait, I don't know much about birds. A hawk?
We'll say that.
Yeah,
pterodactyl.
No.
We'll call you a pterodactyl.
A pterodactyl. Okay. Well, that's an awesome nickname to be had for Festy. But yeah, he did an incredible job staying alive. He could recognize all the weak points of where he could get shot at, and he found again and again a safe spot to play, which was really cool. And he took advantage of the duo underneath him that was also getting shot by other teams. Oh, take a look at this grand final prizing. We can remind everyone what these teams are playing for, so everybody gets some money, first or last place, but there is a bit of a difference between that first and last place.
Just a 10 times difference there. No big deal. But, I mean, it is at least nice to walk away with something. And I know a lot of our players are, again, just starting their path and playing competitive, just starting to stream more and more. So make sure you hop out and give them some love, give them some follows on social media, on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever it is that they're posting, because you're enjoying the show. Go hop in, give them some love, because, well, there's a lot going on. Every single one of these players is competing and bringing their heart, so go give them some love back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to support the competitive scene here on PlayStation, and thank you everyone for watching as all of these players have been growing, and thank you for supporting us and them at the same time. We're doing great things. We even have a Discord that we'll be mentioning at the end of our tournament that you guys could scan the QR code and hop in. But let's take a look at this last game as everybody selects their characters. You know what they're gonna play, because I told you earlier. Bangalore, Seer, Horizon, Pathfinder, Valkyrie, Ishuri on Gibraltar. I really like the Gibraltar pick. I've played Gibraltar one time in this rank split, but I had a really good time.
Gibraltar Lifeline? Are we going back to the early days?
Mm-hmm, yep. Lloyd is not on Fuse anymore. Lloyd is on Lifeline.
Okay, well, we'll see how the change-up's going to come in. We said the fact that there's probably not going to be any curveballs, and we finally managed to get one. So, moving now into our last game to get everything set up, and it is going to be wild. I did want to say one last shout-out regarding that Discord, and everybody that's been involved and giving follows and stuff like that. The community for this has been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for everybody that has been tuning in. You have been awesome.
I was going to make a quick joke there. I love Hakims, but I definitely wouldn't want to be in a tournament with them. At any given moment, they would drop on your head. I'd be scared of them. But yeah, no, that was just my small little joke. Everybody's been playing well. Everybody's been improving each wild card at a time, which is amazing to see. It's nice to see these teams flourish. and make it here to the finals. Red Fade in that 50-50, hitting for flesh, but he's going to play his life because he notices that he's away from his team. So it's a great thing to go for that armor swap. Don't even have to waste those shield cells, and we are going to play as a team in this 50-50. Wow.
Yeah, trying to navigate through right now, as it does look like the rest of the team is leaning more in regrouping. So finally starting to get back together, as it looks like they're just trying to figure out exactly what's going to be going on over here. The team that they are competing against, I can't actually see it because they're all stacked up on top of each other right now. But this is also slowing down the looting by quite a bit. Minimal information. Now finally starting to get some vision. That means the fact that they're going to start playing this one more aggressively. Finding out what's going on through bullets. Good flanks going to be coming out. Good shots also connecting. Are the throwables going to be enough to start turning this back on the tide? As they're going to have to step away. Lots of damage now coming out. Goes for the spin back around. Taking some shots. Goes for a punch as well. But he's going to go down. Red Fade only has one left.
Oh, Red Fade eliminated off the drop. That's one going Aqua. Their day is not going to get ruined. They are going to heal right back up, and they're going to win the fight at backup ammo. I could just hear their hearts beating fast on that 50-50 because that was a close call, but they have done it. So that's actually going to give them a few more kill points. That's going to put them up to 50 points, right? So hey, just 7 more to catch up to AXFF, and might be having yourself a good day.
Now it's got to be Kopernik Pizza trying to make their come up as well. Problem is, it's going to be we don't play. It's going to be on the opposite side of it. So these are two highly aggressive teams with tons of firefighting capabilities lined up against each other. So don't want to overextend. One small mistake will be the end of the tournament for you. Last game coming up. Who's got the nerves? Who's got the capabilities? As it looks like we do have one of the members that is down and trying to get flushed out, but it does look like Kopernik Pizza is taking control over this firefight. Most of the knocks, most of the damage coming out onto them as they are just continuing this push.
Oh, Rom getting the knock and the trade. That's really good on his part. Snorlax doesn't get the knock here. It's actually really surprising. He's playing it quite safe. I think he's a little bit scared. The confidence has gone down. Snorlax is going to play height here. They do have Horizon on the opposing team, so he is going to get pushed, and that's Rom taking another down. We don't play, turning this around in their favor. Kopernik Pizza will not move on in our final game. They were 5th place before this game started, and we don't play are going to take home this win for this 3v3.
Picking up kills early. It's going to be invigorating for them, as now we're going to move over with TXC. See what's going to be happening with them. They're just going to be not too far away from this, honestly. Just a canyon wall between the two of them, as they did hear the firefight, and they're going to be moving. Moonstar is going to be just to the south of where we saw going on with We Don't Play just a moment ago, but early rotations, early control. That's going to be TXC's strategy, especially given the capabilities that the squad can play defensively. It's no surprise at all.
Close range.
Taking a look at the map here. TXC. Ooh, nice to get some gold attachments for your guns. But the G7 Scout does not have a light mag to its name. Raymond. Okay. Picks up the R301. It's just more consistent when you go up into the gravity lift on Horizon. And as you've seen earlier on the damage leaderboards, Raymond is up there in damage. More damage than Shagoon, but one less kill. So let's see if he can make it to the top of that damage and kill leaderboard after this game. You never know. TXC might take home the win. They're playing it slow. Are they inside the zone? I believe they're near it. I believe they are near it. Yeah, they are inside the zone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where it's pulling yet, though.
And they are converging into the exact same pathing as guess who? We don't play.
We don't play.
It's looking like we might start figuring out who's going to win this thing pretty early, as all of the teams that are vying for that first place position are all bumping into each other and so close. Shots already coming out between them, as This is now going to start the lineup. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's no way that TXC would be expecting this. It's going to be Eternal Gardens is going to be where We Don't Play normally drops at. So being here this early is going to be entirely unexpected. With the shots now starting to connect into it, We Don't Play feeling that they've got the authority in, are now coming after TXC. Defensive line's going to be coming down, knowing the fact that, hey, there's only one team that tends to play a character that can drop shields like that, might also lead into We Don't Play playing this more aggressive, trying to get control over this leaderboard.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. You see in Newcastle, you know it's TXC. I don't think many other teams are playing Newcastle at all. And We Don't Play, they realized it.
Oh, no.
Mr. Namka got hit for 150. And do we see another team rotating nearby, but not... yeah, they're not completely on them, but they are nearby. They're looking with their binoculars, and they're not too far away. But it seems like Sarah Sutcliffe and her squad in TXC, they are disengaging. They realize that, hey, this is not an easy team to beat. This is not a place where we want to fight. We are in second place. We don't have too far to go for first.
Oh, wow.
We don't want to die here. Ooh,
We Don't Play is pushing this.
chasing them.
Yeah, I mean, take the opportunities as it's provided. If you know what's going to be going on, make the push in. Do they see anything? They have an idea on how the push is going to be coming out. I think that they just spotted them making the flank around. So now they're going to be trying to follow in. But no, if TXC continues onto this path into the north, they're going to be bumping into two other teams. Most notably, it's going to be Hakeem's on one side of it, but on the other one, it's going to be the potential of being AXFF, who's also pathing over here.
Okay, so TXC in the pinch. This is what we were talking about earlier. You're in one of those buildings where it has two zips attached. You better watch out. You better try and stay alive. This is not a time to be aggressive. This is not a time to be a hero, because there's a third party waiting right on the other side. As you said, Hakeem's is waiting and is ready, and you know they're confident.
Oh no!
Is
They're
always
pushing.
there, but
They jumped on the.
they left.
They jumped on the rail and they're pushing right into where AXFF is going to be positioned at.
Oh
So they're just
my
jumping
goodness.
from one enemy they need to avoid to another. This could be catastrophe for them. I think that they spotted out what was going to be happening. So TXC does manage to get into a compound, and right next door, you can see that this is a bad neighborhood. Its real estate value is about to just plummet, as there's going to be so many bullets exchanged between two.
Oh, you are right. This is a bad neighborhood. I wouldn't want to live here either. TXC, they've got their eyes on XFF. Hakeem's. We don't play on the other side of that zip line. And like we were talking about zip rails, they're so quick. A third party could be here at any moment. I don't know if you want to fight, but they do not have a Valkyrie. Keep this in mind. What are they going to do? Zone 2's pulling in. Yes, we can out-heal it, but how are we going to rotate? We have to take that zip back. Oh my goodness, we're getting pushed. It is like a horror movie. There was a little pop-up scare right inside of Raymond's face as they try and play their life. They're getting pushed by two teams.
Yeah, going to be, I think on one side of it, Hakeem's are going to be making the approach, and on the other, it's going to be Koopy. So that's going to be forcing We Don't Play to play more aggressively into this one. So now our top three teams all stacked up on top of each other right now. Who's going to be able to find the opportunities, as it does look like it is going to be TXC having to play from the back, but looking back in, Big Spree is going to come up, hit some damage onto it, but Raymond trying to find something. Shield's not broken yet, but a lot of damage has been exchanged on the outside of this. AXFF is just watching. The moment a knock comes in and they realize what's going to be happening, they're going to have to make a decision. How are they going to try to make anything happen out of this? Koopy, here's the firefight, and they're now coming in back behind where We Don't Play, as this is a potential for a 4-team firefight of who's going to be able to walk away with first.
My goodness, I gotta give it to TXC though. They've been staying alive. They've been playing alive. Mr. Proffin's gonna go down. Slander takes him down with the G7 scout from afar. We Don't Play. They're gonna have to figure it out because they do not have much cover to play around. Looks like they want to get the revive, but they're not unable to just yet. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna leave TXC alone? Proffin's gonna get thirsted. Namka takes down Slander. This is a trade here. Slander's gonna have to be careful. Shagoom takes down Rom. Oh my goodness!
TXC heard it. They realize what's going on. They're making a push in. They're like, hey, no, we saw on the kill feed what's going to be happening. They're making the aggressive jump into this one, but it's going to be Sarah Sutcliffe that takes a lot of damage. No, they're just trying to bypass. They're using the distraction that Koopy set up, and they're just trying to get out.
Wonderfully done. They took every advantage that they could on getting away, and they done it quick, making that zip rail all the way around, and nobody's on that building to hold them out. They needed to do that because, like I said, they do not have a Valkyrie. They cannot just skyward dive over the mountain, and Zone 2 does do a bit of damage. So taking that opportunity, great job by TXC. Now, are they going to gatekeep, or are they going to take a position in zone? There's still a lot of time to figure that out. We don't play now on the low ground as a two-man, trying to stay alive. Zone is in here. He's got 2 medkits. It's going to be able to give him enough time to sit in the storm. But look at the banner, 20 seconds remaining for it. We need this recovery if we want to make a good game out of our finals, okay? We Don't Play has been playing in these wildcards week after week. They need a big game to end it off.
They at least get what they needed there. We do see that I believe AXFF did make a jump over and move into a new position. Koopy's going to do the same. So Viper Squadron's going to be coming in from the south, everybody making the push in, and I will remind everybody that AXFF found success where? In stasis, repeatedly, and the circle is around that location yet again.
There's a team inside this building ratting. Viper Squadron do have a seer, so they should know that there's a team inside there. They shouldn't go down. Dominus doing great damage. They actually get the first knock here. Forsey doing a good job getting the flank here with the car. He just has to stay alive. That was the cleanest fight I've ever seen. Nofra eliminated, and that's what happens with a really good skyward dive and a seer. And that's why these two legends are so good in the meta right now. Exactly what you've seen. You cannot rat on them, and they can rotate from across the map and take one of the best positions. But that building that they're in actually isn't in end zone, so they're gonna have to move even further. But it was well executed by them. We Don't Play still in that storm we were talking about. They have a minute and 50 seconds to make it in. I don't think they go for a revive or crafting out here. They do not have time. I'm going to predict We Don't Play is going to die to this storm.
I mean, they ran all the way over here. This is a big push for them to make a play into this area, so I don't know specifically what the goal is coming out. Viper Squadron, you can see now getting more involved, and this is going to be what's going to be happening is they are going to be controlling the compound that is going to be along the canyon wall, so a couple teams could be coming in after this. Dominus is going to go down. He was been a core component for how we've seen success, but that was a beautiful play. AXFF is now down and out.
Oh my goodness, and they didn't get that many placement points either. They died in 12th place. They did have the advantage of points going into this, but I don't think that that's going to be enough. We're about to find out. Now, they're going to be preying on everyone else's downfall here. TXC still alive, and they are the first threat. One Don Aqua as well, I believe, are still alive.
TXC has to push along that same path that we just saw, really just AXFF get destroyed along. So, have to see how this is going on. A lot of our teams still playing into the north. This is going to be right along this line as We Don't Play. It does come in, and there we go. They are actually going to get the respawn. They are outside of the zone, and they have a path down into this area. This is capabilities. I love it. Go ahead, Mark. Drop ammo as well. It's time to land and go.
They look like they're getting gate kept from a team in Promenade. This could be bad for them. Rose taking down Flojo in the kill feed. Slander taking down Forsey. Atsu taking down Moon. Lots of fighting going on, but We Don't Play. They just revived. They have a team right above them. Popping a shield battery. Zone 3 is going to hurt, but it's they're on the slow side. It's moving very slowly on their back right now.
Yeah, and they're just going to try to play ahead of that. That looks like what they're going to have to do. But as they move over, there are 2 other squads that are going to be playing this northern part of the canyon wall away from everything. So as they move, could spell some bigger and bigger problems, as TXC did manage to get past the team that was gatekeeping them. They snuck by it and are in a very controlled position. So while We Don't Play is moving into the north, they're going to have a team right on top of them, and 4 teams are now going to be intersecting into the south.
Yeah, that's VXTG right above them, I believe. Andre and company. Oh, they're on that northern end. Yep. White paid powders over there as well. his squad. We don't play. They might get into this 3v3. Great shots in the air with the R301. That's what you like to see from Mr. Namka. But he's actually getting shot from both sides, so they have to full commit to this. And they have to get the kills very fast so that they can get the armor swaps. Namka goes down. Ramex plays last one remaining for his squad.
It's Koopy. They're coming in back behind all of this one. Rom's got to play it slow. One done. Aqua is going to get eliminated. We're going to see VXTG get eliminated. We don't play gets eliminated. And now we got Koopy on the other side watching what's going to be happening. Moving back down to the south of this one, TXC is now going to be trying to gatekeep out what's going to be going on. The Hakims are going to be in the thick of that southern firefight along with Moonstars.
So out of our top 3, TXC is still alive. TXC is the only team still alive. It looks like TXC has the biggest advantage in this last game. They're the only team in the top 3 alive. Viper Squadron, are they alive? Yes, they are. They actually might fight TXC right now.
Yeah, they've been back and forth, so now Hakim's coming in from the south. They hear what's going on, but haven't been able to move in. TXC's in some trouble, though, because they are in a pinched position. The firefight that you keep hearing is kind of what's pulling everything away. Moonstars are going to be moving in just to the north of where we see the Hakims coming in. They don't like it. They hear too much noise, and I like this. Move back around. Don't approach from that angle. Instead, find a new pathing.
Okay, it's down to the wire, but as teams die, the more placement points you get, the higher of a chance you are getting into that top 10 or you are winning this game. TXC and Viper Squadron, this is going to be it for them. This is going to be the deciding factor. Forsey taking down Shagoom in the kill feed. You really want to take a look at that fight. Shagoom going down. This is TXC, our only team in the top 3. Hakims. On the other side of the map, Raymond taking down Dominus. Really wish we could see that fight with our 3rd and 4th team. TXC eliminated! Oh no! TXC eliminated. Have they done enough to surpass AXFF? Honestly, now our top 3 teams have died. Viper Squadron in 4th place with 35 points.
What can they do? Can they make this a game? They need to have it. They've been picking up kills as they go. Hakim's trying to make sure that they keep control over this area. The circle does pop pretty close to center, slightly shifted into the south, but the wall that we've been seeing, Viper Squadron lean for control, is still going to keep a smidgen of it in play.
Moonstars eliminated by Viper Squadron, so that is 2 teams eliminated by them. They're in 4th place. They're trying to get as many kill points as possible, but they're a duo. They need to recover their teammate's banner. They won't be able to. It's far deep inside that storm, and they have a full team Koopy right underneath them.
How are they going to handle this? They've been able to pick up several kills, as you can see them, top right. Viper Squadron have got to be careful with this one. It's a full lineup in front of them. The circle is getting more and more control. The team's still just trying to get control of the south of it. There's going to be a team that's already moving and advancing. Viper Squadron doesn't have very many pathing options. They have got to deal with a very strong Koopy who picked up all of what was going along Stasis Roy. We saw how crazy that was up there, and these are the team that walked out of it. So you know they're going to be stacked up. Most notably, see the fact that Bilka is sneaking over more and more to the east, has gotten spotted out, and that was big for Viper Squadron. If they had not realized what was going on there, it would have spilled their doom.
They have to move forward here in just a few seconds, and I don't know if they're going to be able to make it. One thing that they do have is the gravity lift. They are going to be able to maybe get away on the zip rail. Maybe. I don't know if they're going to go for it. Forsey walking up, trying to take some of the aggression onto himself. They might just take this here up. They're getting shot by the bow. Now they need a help from another team. Will the Hakim save them, or will they come to their dooms? Twiggy's just constantly getting pressured. They do not have time for healing. They've got to go. They take the zip rail. Are they going to get beamed on the zip rail? He gets out. Twiggy is alive. He pops his ultimate. He's popping a Phoenix kit as well. I don't know if he's going to be able to get a Phoenix kit off. He's going to try, but there's another Seer ultimate on the other side. He plays in this bush. He's alive for now. Sakeli's come in. This is going to be it. Top 4. Toucan taking down Ishuri.
Everybody's making the push into it. It was 2 contained fights, one to the north and one to the south of a Viper Squadron just trying to cling to life. He's managed to find himself a sneaky little place to play from. Koopy has an idea that he's around 4 squads alive, but it's going to be Hakeem's on one side. If you can see Sekeli trying to play the other one, it's all around the battle for the bridge. Everybody's trying to peek between it, and there's very few options on how to navigate. Sekeli, you can see, backs up against the wall right now, trying to figure out what they're going to be doing moving out of this one. Steps around, seeing the fact that maybe he's got more control. Most of the teams now are starting to move more into the north and into the west, but Sekeli doing a good job on just trying to cling to life. It's going to be White Paint Powder that does manage to spot out one of the teams, gets the drop onto him. So Sekeli just hoping the fact that the other teams will do the work for them and let them jump into whatever's going to be happening, as Koopy has the aggressive angles and is holding down the control right now, but they have Twiggy that is still hiding out right next to them.
I love this double defense and seer comp right now. It's keeping them alive for quite a long time. Still 4 squads remaining. Everyone are holding their breaths. I think the Hakeems got the revive. They got the recovery. It is going to be a bloodbath. Can Twiggy pull off a win as a solo? I'm not sure. The Hakeems might be looking at him here shortly. Lloyd needing to heal up because the zone is closing.
Almost all utility is being thrown at Sekeli right now, which is good for the Hakeems. They're doing, means the fact that most of the aggression and the scary bombardments are coming this way. So Sekeli, while they're managing to hold this one together, I'm pretty impressed. They're managing to keep almost everybody in a strong, comfortable position. It's now starting to calm down. People are realizing, okay, we're using a lot of our utility. Twiggy's now moving up. He's right back behind the Hakeems. He opens up. He's going to go down quite quickly, but he's going to be the one that kicks it all off. One of the members of the Hakeems is going to go down, and now it's about how is everybody else going to move. Sekeli playing this one patiently. Koopy, here's what's going on, but they don't want to move from this angle because they've got Sekeli held down. Hakeems now getting more and more control over the south. It means the fact that they can start to take control over this game in its entirety. Circles coming in, but it is just a continual fight. White Paint Powder gets up on top of Sekeli and is just shooting down right up on top of them, but they are so defensive they can hold it.
This is going to be wild because the dome is going to go down shortly. Are they going to try and take the high ground, or are they going to play under the bridge? They have a 50-50. Nonetheless, they have to fight. They are going to go down. Hakeems is taking this one clean. They're going to be in a straight 3v3. This is a bloodbath. It is all about your mechanical skills. At this point, White Paint Powder, he's going to stay alive using his teammate's knockdown shield, and I believe Koopy are taking the advantage of this fight. Yes, Koopy is our champion of game number 5 in our finals.
Koopy playing a phenomenal last game. They were just going around massacring so many people, causing so many issues, causing gatekeeping situations to happen. Everybody that was fighting for first had to deal with the ramifications of Koopy's actions, and they walk away with a win on top of it.
Amazing stuff from all of our teams today. Koopy managed. Koopy did a great job because they got a knock on Hakeems, but they didn't push on that. They noticed that they had the advantage in the spot that they had, and they're like, hey, we need to play this safe. There are 2 other teams nearby. They played it patiently, and it netted them the win, and they dropped down. The moment Hakeems won the fight, they jumped down, and they sprayed and prayed.
That is the epitome of what we talk about, controlling an area. You can see that Sekeli didn't have any choice. Like they didn't want to try to assault the high ground position, so they were hoping that maybe they could sneak down below the bridge, exactly where the Hakeems were at, because they couldn't move due to Koopy. And Sekeli couldn't move to Koopy. So all ends up coming to control. The plan comes together at the end, and they get to jump down and deal with a weakened team to walk away with a win. And Viper Squadron, though, how many points do you think that they managed to pick up? And do you think it's going to be enough?
I mean, Viper Squadron had 35 points, and TXC was at 51 before they died. Or before the game even started, sorry, not before they died. So, yeah, they would have needed a win, I think, to catch up into the top 2 for sure. Yeah, I don't think that they have enough points. They would have needed... Yeah,
they picked up a lot of kills. I feel like
they did
third
pick
is
up a lot of
potential.
kills. Third is potential. Yes. Yeah, third is a potential for sure. I agree with you there. It's hard for me to math right now. So many of our top teams died before we expected them to die. So it's really hard to say who got more points than who. Fourth place is 5 placement points with a ton of kills. If third place is a potential.
How it comes together here. You can see Hakeems and what it was like down on their angle. They're just watching Kelly just run right into their sight lines, getting weakered by Koopy. And then Koopy's like, thanks. We appreciate you assisting and giving us the victory. And as your reward, we will make sure that you get second place. And just jumps down right on top of them.
It was really good from Koopy because not only did Hakeem's get a clean fight, they did have to reload their weapons at some point. Like, they didn't have both of them fully reloaded, so it was great for them to just take that opportunity and get it over with. Oh my goodness, take a look at this damage. Nearly 2k damage, or 2k plus on all three of them. So, wow, they did a great job in the end. This was your underdog team, was it not? They got a win.
A win and 12 kills. That's going to be great for them on the overall leaderboard. Is just that one big game is going to be enough. And whenever they've been in that like lower pack position, we're going to have to see as we're going to look at who all has managed to win games throughout the day. Is we have only had one repeat winner. Stack it all back together. It is going to be AXFF, who won games 2 and 3, TXC, who picked up game 4, Koopy with game 5, One Done Aqua, who picked up game number 1.
Incredible stuff. And here are our standings. Starting from the bottom half, PNM making 11th place. They did a really good job. 2 Minute Esports. They managed to get a lot of eliminations here today. Not too many placement points. CEP as well. We've been seeing them try and get to those late games as they have 10 placement points, but it wasn't enough. Congratulations to our top 18.
Oh, so close. It's going to be AXFF who walks away with first place, winning the grand final for the Master Circuit. Back behind them, TXC by 3 points. Going to be able to pick up second place. Still, both teams walking away with PlayStations and a big stack of money. In third place is going to be One Done Aqua, Viper Squadron right back behind that, and then Koopy as well as Kelly. We Don't Play, Coppernick Pizza, Hakeem's moving into the top 10, and DXTGRE to round out our top 10.
I really didn't imagine it to end at the points that they ended. After, the second last game, AXFF had 57. They only gained 1 point, but they still managed to win because all of our top teams ended up dying out early. Congratulations to everyone, and congratulations on your PS5s for the day. We do have a lot to thank you guys for, and if you really enjoyed the tournaments today, would you like to join our Discord?
Ooh. Hold on, we've got let's go ahead and give some love to our Master Circuit Season 3 champions first, as it's going to be AXFF. Massive performance coming out from them and playing whenever it mattered. I know that We Don't Play did great during the qualifiers, but when the pressure was on, AXFF are the ones that found the success whenever it was most needed. I want to give a big shout out to them and all of their accomplishments. If they've been able to handle it, again, they just played on a different level than I think that we've seen them play so far today.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, they've been a part of our Master Circuit for a long time, but the consistency today and the way that the tournament played out was a lot different than our qualifiers and our wildcards. So we may not have seen them at their max potential, but when everything was on the line, they came out the brightest.
And let's take a look back now then. We were talking about the Discord just a moment ago, and now that if you want to get to know some of the people that are involved inside the community, how are you going to do that there, girl?
Join the PlayStation Tournament's community Discord to find regular updates on esports events, articles, videos, and meet with others to improve your game. It's a fairly new Discord, but if you can pull out your phone on your camera, if you can scan the QR code, it'll give you a direct link to join the Discord. And that's all you have to do to be a part of our community and be a part of all of our special content.
And with all that special content, there's a chance for a ton of different things, as we still got the Win-a-thon that's rolling strong. Rack up wins in PlayStation tournaments. Whatever tournament. It doesn't have to be an Apex tournament. Whatever you want to play through all of January for a chance to win prizes like the new DualSense Edge controller, PlayStation 5 consoles. We just talked about giving away some just a moment ago. Sign up on console and start competing for prizes today. Full rules can be read at compete.playstation.com. And yeah, if you want to get involved, that is the place to go for everything. Compete.playstation.com is the hub for anything that you want to be involved in for all of these tournaments, as we have a ton that are coming down the line. Today, we just finished out Master Circuit Grand Final for EU, but guess what? We've still got some North American love that we were going to have to be moving into. And then we've got a ton of action that is going to be following past. I'm just excited. If North America is anything like EU has been, I am hyped.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a great showing of EU, and I'm sure it's going to be a great showing in NA. And we've got a schedule for our other games as well. Like you said, compete.playstation.com has got tons of action to be a part of. We've got Mortal Kombat Fight Nights January 19th at 9 a.m. PT. We've got Dragon Ball Z Fighter Fight Nights at January 25 at 6 p.m. PT. We've got Street Fighter Fight Nights January 26 at 6 p.m. PT. Tekken 7 at January 31st, 9 a.m. PT. Mortal Kombat again February 16th at 9 a.m. PT. And Dragon Ball Z Fighters February 22 at 6 p.m. PT. If you think you're going to forget, pull out your phone and put it on your calendar. It only takes a couple minutes, and you don't want to miss out on all this fun stuff.
Yeah, and if you've been having fun, make sure that you hop on social media. Let PlayStation know that you've been enjoying the events and as they've been moving forward. Because, I mean, that's really what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to set up a community where everybody can get together, start competing, start to grow together, make some friends. Really, and get some prizes along the way. So if you've been enjoying this, make sure you tune in. North America's going to be coming. But if, time zones are weird or whatever else like that, we want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching through the entirety of the season. We hope the fact that you had a great chance to cheer on your friends and your teams that you want to support the most. But closing out the day, what you got to say, girl?
Well, I can't wait to see you guys later for the NA action, but a big thank you for spending a part of your day with our PlayStation community.
Every single team that has played their way through this one, we want to say thank you so much. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys and being brave no matter where you end up on the leaderboard. If you walked away with first place, AXFF, great. But also, if you ended up in the bottom 10, we hope that you had some fun, and we hope that you will continue to sign up. And we will see you guys in North America in just a few hours. Thank you so much for tuning in.
PlayStation